in this lifetime, baby. I told you. Your baby father. Right now, this motherfucker don't want to give up. This psycho. This person's a psycho. Stalking you. This person don't want to give up. This shit is pathetic. This person is pathetic. Because you don't love them. You never did. This person was sent in. You never loved this person. This person wasn't for you. Why this person don't understand that? God is going to deal with this baby father. This person is holding a grudge. Because you left them. They paid to be in your life. They use the scare tactics because they scared.
Nah, I just feel like people turn my baby daddy against each other.
They intimidated by you. They scared of you. Yeah, all this shit about to go the fuck down right now. Okay, that death spell they perform on you back.
On both sides. Especially on my side. It kind of made me push him away. But it was all plotted. But that's why the black community not how it used to be.
You got a fraudulent adoption in this energy. Your karmic father adopted you fraudulently. Yes, he did. So you got a power of attorney over your estate. Wow. This person, your karmic father could be a Capricorn, or you could be a Capricorn. Yeah, they all are being watched by the FBI first, like I said. Your karmic father fraudulently adopted you in 2013. Around 2010, this is when they stole your inheritance. From 1999 to 2010, they was robbing and stealing and putting your money in a fucking bank account. Okay, a CD account so it could grow. Around 2013, he fraudulently adopted you because this is your uncle father. You always had two names. Okay? Yeah. Yo, I can't believe I just heard that shit. So your mother, this could be your karmic mother. In 2013, this bitch fucking fraudulent adopt you. A karmic mother. This could be your stepmother, okay, your uncle father, or your uncle or your father's wife or whatever. They fucking fraudulently adopted you. Or probably when you was born. Because that's not your father. Your father is his brother, who he sacrificed. Okay. Yo, let me come out of this shit right now. I'm about to close this out. Yes, they realize that you're superhuman, super powerful. You can't be stopped. Okay? You cannot be stopped. They are scared of you. They try to scare you, but they're intimidated by you. Okay, my love.
And that's the truth. Okay, now I should have showed everybody, y'all, because I just did it. I wish I could listen to a song, y'all, but they won't let us play it on here. So, and I'm going on here now. I don't like to listen to the videos YouTube send me. So, I wonder if I could react to other YouTubers on here, y'all. Y'all should tell me in the comments, because then when I come live again, I'm going to go on my other channel that don't have music. It's just like, because I have different channels where I look at certain content, pretty much, is what I'm saying. Like, if I want to see, because I don't really like looking at all the, I don't know what be going on TV and all those shows, but when I do want to, I have a certain channel, well, because, you know, the algorithm put it in your feeds. So,
let's talk cash.
This is the first video. I see potentially. Let me read Chi-Town. Let me read Pretty Girl thing. It say I see potential. It was right under this video that I'm about to watch. Pretty much, I see potential in you, and I want to see how much you can accomplish. It's like angel messages when you read it like this. When you get it like this, pretty much. Okay, let's go back. I see potential in you, and I want to see how much you can accomplish with the right motherfucker behind you. I know you probably not used to people having your back, because you always got to be the strong person having everybody else's back. But I want to be that support to you that you be to other people. I believe in you, your dreams, because I believe in you. I've been, see, this is angel messages, babe. Because I don't even know this person. I seen that shit you've been given through. I can pick up on that shit you don't talk about, but I also see that you do. Listen, y'all, this is what I'm reading. Look, I'm not making this up. Can y'all see it too? Look, you see what I'm saying? Angel messages. Because that's right after the video we finna watch right now. It's the first one. Let me see. You can't help a motherfucker that don't want to help themselves, but I see you trying. So I want to lighten the load. Baby, this conversation is coming into y'all real soon, back with action. Your hyper and independent tail been getting wore out, but ain't it? God has literally been preparing you for whatever this is by putting you in the space of being open to receiving help and not looking at help as a handout. This person will not play about you, baby. You finally about to get you, and I'm here for you. Look, that I just read that for real. Okay, let's look at this video. That's hype. That's what you really call angel messages, y'all. When you
believes you possess
yeah, okay, so this Obsidian.
This agent, who has witnessed
Y'all, the videos relatable. Y'all can go check them out. I don't get sponsored for none of this stuff. I just, it helped me when I'm cleaning up and stuff.
The very apparatus
especially reading too, y'all.
has detected your natural authority.
So
The
y'all
question isn't whether you're qualified.
should follow me on
It's why
Quora
you
because
haven't
I be
claimed your
leaving
rightful
little
position yet.
forms,
The weight of their gaze
inspiring
struck
ones
you
though.
first.
You know,
Eyes trained
like
to
this.
scan crowds for threats, to identify
If I get some
anomalies in
storage,
milliseconds.
I'm gonna start reading them on and make them like reels and stuff. Put a little TikTok little background music on it or something. But I have no space right now. I have to figure it out.
With
It's a lot.
unnerving intensity.
I'm gonna figure it out
This
though.
wasn't chance. This wasn't protocol. This was destiny unfolding in real time.
Damn, what's my Quora?
They moved with that distinct
I'm gonna link it in
economy
one of
of
my
motion
videos. Y'all
that
should follow
marks
me on
those who've spent decades in the shadows of power. A Secret Service agent
there. It's where you get to see who I really am.
Speaking when silence has been their professional discipline. 23 years in service, badge number deliberately
really
obscured, breaking
sleep
every
is in
rule of
Seattle type
engagement
of
to
person.
reach you. 3 presidents, 17 foreign dignitaries, countless
It's a good
high-risk
thing though.
operations. Yet
It's really a
something
good
about
thing. It's
you
peaceful.
caused them to shatter protocol tonight, to emerge from invisibility, to reveal a truth meant only for your ears. You need to run for office, and forces will align to stop you when you do. The recognition in their eyes wasn't suggestion.
So I'm gonna like this
It was
right now.
certainty born from witnessing thousands of leaders up close. Their strengths, their weaknesses, their public faces and private demons. This agent had stood silently in rooms where world-changing decisions were made, had observed those who crumbled under pressure and the rare few who rose to meet it. And now they see that same rare quality in you. The message delivered carried the heavy weight of someone who knows exactly how the game is played, how candidates are selected, packaged, controlled. The machinery of power exposed by one
I
sworn
wonder if I
to
could react
protect it.
to
A cosmic alignment of messenger and chosen one that transcends coincidence. Something approaches on the horizon. Something that will
I'm gonna
require
figure it out.
leaders who haven't been compromised by the system. Leaders exactly like you. Your past now revealed through tactical clarity. The highway pileup outside Glenwood, 16 vehicles, chaos everywhere.
Whoa.
First responders still minutes out. You took command without
I
hesitation.
see.
Organized the uninjured to help the wounded. Created a triage system on pure instinct.
That
Kept
is
that man
crazy.
with the severed artery alive when death seemed certain. The town hall meeting where that developer with connections reaching to the state capital tried to displace 37 families. You stood against overwhelming pressure, found the legal loophole nobody else spotted, rallied community support across political lines when division served those in power. You prevailed when failure seemed inevitable. The school board crisis, the flood response, the community garden initiative,
Come on,
that bridged
baby, let
3
me talk to
neighborhoods
you.
with decades of tension between them. Moments when you acted not because you sought leadership, but because something inside you refused to stand down when others needed someone, anyone, to step forward. Your name first appeared in classified systems after the Westlake incident. Standard procedure. Anyone demonstrating unusual capability in crisis situations gets...
YouTube sent me that video. I could tell how it is. I'm happy I let it play through a little bit because I was really gonna change it. I was gonna do this a long time ago, but it was getting karmic, funny. But YouTube strategically sent it to me like that. It's not the messenger or the message. It's just how they gave it to me, like an algorithm to tell me something. We're interested. All right,
constant reminders of your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative.
Hold up. I'll do it a couple times. I could tell too. See, like that just glitched just now. That's how I do. That's what I keep doing it too. I'm trying to see it glitch. I'm showing y'all sauce too, for real.
Something
Y'all should tip me, send me a sauce, or whatever. I saw it glitch. YouTube was sending me videos.
It's not
for the
by
algorithm.
chance that you're hearing this message at this exact moment. Tonight marks the arrival of a sacred event, one that has been divinely orchestrated just for you. Believe it or not, a government official chosen by God is actively seeking you out. They aren't searching for just anyone. They're looking for you specifically. The big question
YouTube, I
is
saw
why?
it glitch, y'all.
What do they know about you that the rest of the world doesn't? What have they noticed in you that even you might not fully understand yet? Maybe they've recognized something hidden deep within you. A calling, a divine anointing for abundance, influence, and wealth. Could this be the moment when everything in your life changes forever? Just imagine. A powerful official, handpicked by God, wants to meet with you privately. This isn't about favors or politics. It's because they've witnessed something undeniable about your destiny. They see a force within you, a supernatural connection to prosperity, favor, and abundance that is ready to emerge. But the real question is, do you see it too, chosen one? This could be the very moment you've been waiting for your entire life. The turning point when God reveals your true purpose and guides you straight into the overflow of blessings you've been praying for. If you feel something stirring in your spirit right now, comment 88 below as your declaration that you are stepping into divine alignment. And to everyone who's poured into this message with super thanks, may blessings be returned to you in ways you never expected.
Y'all tell me if I can react to other videos, because I would love to.
But listen carefully. This isn't just about a meeting. This is about unlocking a reality that very few people
I know
ever
these
experience
content
in their
creators
lifetime. A kingdom level wealth transfer
that I
is on
react
the
to don't
horizon,
copyright
but it
strike
will
me.
only come to those who
So when I see
recognize
their
the
videos, I don't
signs
mind
and
clicking
seize
on
the
it, like
moment.
Tiffany's and
The doors
a
to
couple other
supernatural
people too.
increase and divine positioning are
They
swinging
won't
wide open.
copyright you.
The real question
Especially,
is,
I feel like if you
will
give a
you have the
person
courage
credit
to step
anyways,
through?
they shouldn't copyright you.
Stay with me,
Because
because what I'm
you
about to
send the
share
person
is
to their
not just
channel.
another motivational message. This could be the exact knowledge you need to step into your breakthrough. What happens next might truly change the entire direction of your life. So let's dive in. If you're seeing this message, God's chosen ones, know that a government official guided by divine direction is seeking you. You are entering a completely new phase of your life, and what you are sensing isn't just a fleeting idea. Welcome the anointed ones. They didn't start talking when you were quiet. They started talking
I
when
lost
they
the
realized
video.
you were never coming back the same.
Also,
Let's be real.
I
People don't
fucking
gossip
broke the
about a
damn
ghost.
thing.
They gossip about a threat. And the moment you chose healing over hiding, truth over tap dancing, and comeback over collapse, they knew. They knew. Fact. Studies show that people are more threatened by internal strength than outward aggression. Why? Because someone who rebuilt themselves in silence becomes unpredictable. And unpredictable people, well, they're terrifying to those who rely on control. So they talked, whispered, speculated, gathered in petty little prayer
Okay,
circles
it's a
disguised as group chats.
chosen one.
But
You
let's
had.
get
I guess
something
I'm gonna
clear.
keep it, but the theme
They
fell
weren't
on it.
discussing your
Chosen one. You had
downfall.
them all
They
talking
were
now
witnessing a
on how
rising
you
they
fought
couldn't decode.
back and made history.
Because you didn't just
It's
fight
by
back.
Anointed Path.
You
I
made
gotta get me
history
something
with
to
no
drink.
press
I'm
release.
getting a little harsh.
You shocked them by surviving what should have buried you,
Oh,
and then turning that rubble into a throne. And now, the same mouths that tried to curse you can't stop mentioning
I
you.
guess that's why that shit
Welcome to
fell
the
on it.
aftermath of choosing power over pity. So sit tight, chosen one, because what
Okay,
we're
let
about
me
to
go get me
unpack isn't
something
just
to drink.
inspirational. It's your blueprint of becoming the legend they thought would break. And yes, if
And a
they're still
little
watching from the sidelines,
snack
tell them
tea
to take
there.
notes. This is required reading. Let's begin. Number one, they didn't expect you to read the game, let alone rewire the system. They never saw it coming. Truth be told, they didn't even think you were paying attention. While they were throwing shade, setting traps, and
Right.
laughing behind your back, you were collecting data, mentally bookmarking every fake smile, every lie, every attempt to humiliate you. You weren't just surviving, you were studying. And that's what shook them to the core. Because you didn't just fight back with emotion, you came back with strategy. You decoded the whole setup. You saw how the manipulation worked, how they used guilt to control you, how they created alliances built on lies, and how they all smiled together when it looked like you were finally crumbling. They thought you were too soft to ever bite back, too quiet to ever speak out, too tired to ever rise again. But you were never sleeping. You were calculating, watching, evolving. See, they expected you to blow up and make a mess, to self-destruct and prove them right. That's what they wanted. But instead, you played a game they didn't know you understood. You moved in silence, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You stopped reacting and started observing. You stopped trying to fix them and started fixing your focus. And when it was time, you didn't just return. You came back with clarity, power, and moves they couldn't predict. You didn't come to prove you were strong. You came to show them you were never stupid. They underestimated the quiet one, the one who used to explain themselves too much, the one who used to ask for peace when they should have been preparing for war. But this time, you came equipped, with receipts, with boundaries, with vision, and suddenly, the entire game flipped. The ones who once mocked you were now scrambling to explain why you're winning. The ones who tried to isolate you now swear they always believed in you. They never expected you to read the game. But the fact that you rewired the entire system without making a scene, that's what made them panic. Because now, they can't stop talking. Not because you begged for attention, but because you earned a level of respect they never thought you were capable of commanding. And you did it without even raising your voice. Number two, you made resilience look like rebellion, and that scared them. They didn't know what to call it when you stopped breaking down. When you started choosing yourself over their approval, they didn't have the language for that kind of growth. So they called you rebellious, difficult, cold. But the truth is, you weren't trying to be any of that. You were just done bleeding for people who never brought bandages. You weren't rebelling. You were finally responding to the damage. They watched you take hit after hit and still get up. What they didn't expect was that one day, you'd stop just surviving and start pushing back. Not with loud threats or chaos, but with silence, with strength, with decisions they couldn't control. You started saying no. You stopped apologizing for having standards. You didn't flinch when they withdrew their fake love or attention. And that's when the panic started, because strength that doesn't beg scares people who rely on weakness to stay in control. You made healing look like disobedience. You made self-respect look like betrayal. They were used to you explaining yourself, tolerating disrespect, trying to keep the peace, even while your soul was screaming. But this time you didn't shrink. You walked away. And that level of resilience, they couldn't handle it. Because it meant you no longer needed anything from them. And the minute you become unbothered, you become dangerous to people who depended on your brokenness. They thought you were lashing out. What they didn't realize was that you were finally standing up. And the way you did it, calm, controlled, unshakable. That's what disturbed them. You didn't announce your boundaries, you enforced them. You didn't throw a fit, you walked in truth. You didn't fight for closure. You built a new chapter without waiting for their apology. And the boldness of that? It turned heads. You didn't become a rebel, you became real. And it wasn't loud or messy, it was powerful. You made resilience your rhythm, you made peace your position. And without raising your voice, without chasing validation, you flipped the entire dynamic. They feared you lost your mind. But the reality is, you found your soul. And once you find that, there's no going back. Number 3, you didn't just survive. You inconvenienced their illusions. They thought your rise was about attention, that you were trying to prove something, get revenge, show off. But what they never understood is that your elevation had nothing to do with them. It was about breaking out of a life that didn't feel like yours. You weren't chasing a spotlight, you were escaping a trap. And in doing so, you disrupted everything they believed about how life is supposed to go. You made people uncomfortable, not because you were loud, but because you were real. You stopped following the script. You stopped shrinking yourself to keep the peace. You stopped pretending to be okay with dysfunction just to be accepted. And when you did that, you didn't just change your life, you shook theirs. Because your transformation exposed how fake everything around you really was. You became the glitch in their system, the proof that healing is possible, the reminder that staying small is a choice. And once people saw you walk away from what was killing you, they started questioning why they were still sitting in the fire. That's what made you dangerous. Your freedom became contagious. The way you started living didn't just upset the people who hurt you, it unsettled the ones who never tried. You became a walking contradiction to their excuses, a living threat to the lies they told themselves. And instead of clapping for you, they gossiped. Instead of learning from you, they labeled you. Because deep down, they weren't angry that you changed. They were angry that you proved change was possible. You didn't need their permission. You didn't ask for their approval. You just evolved. And the cost of that evolution was their comfort. But you paid it anyway because staying silent, stuck, and sick was no longer an option. You didn't just survive the storm. They watched you build a whole new world from the wreckage. And they've been disturbed ever since. Not because you're loud, but because your peace speaks louder than their noise. You didn't just heal, you interfered with their illusion. And once the mask falls, there's no going back. That's why your name stays in rooms you no longer walk into. Number 4, they had group chats about you because you triggered their mask. They weren't talking about you because they were bored. They were talking about you because they were exposed. You didn't just walk into their lives. You walked in with eyes that saw too much. You saw through the performance, the fake humility, the borrowed confidence, the nice but nasty energy that tried to pass for kindness. And what made them nervous wasn't what you said. It was what you didn't deny seeing. You triggered something deep in them, the part they'd worked hard to bury under smiles, filters, titles, and shallow validation.
Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. Like the people who keep this country moving. For them, only America's most dependable.
While everyone else played along with their script, you were the one person who didn't need the show. You didn't laugh at their fake jokes. You didn't flatter their insecurity. You didn't beg for their approval. You just saw them, fully, clearly, and you didn't flinch. So what did they do? They got loud, started group chats. Conversations layered in sarcasm and passive aggression, but the truth was clear. They were shaken. You made their whole persona feel unstable just by existing as your authentic self. You didn't play the game, and that made them feel like they were losing one. They said you were too much, too serious, too distant. But what they really meant was, you're not buying what we're selling. You didn't bite the bait. You didn't chase the clicks. You didn't compromise who you are to keep fake peace. And that made you a problem. Not because you were wrong, but because you were proof that realness still exists in a world built on pretend. They felt safest around people who mirrored their masks. But you weren't there to comfort their illusions. You reflected their contradictions. You triggered the very things they didn't want to face. Their envy, their insecurity, their hypocrisy. And when you didn't fold under their pressure, that's when the group chat lit up. It was never about you being bad. It was about you being real. And for people who survive off facades, real is always the loudest threat in the room. Number 5, you weaponized the truth, and they called it arrogance. They didn't expect you to speak up, let alone speak with power. For so long, they counted on your silence, your politeness, your fear of being misunderstood. But then came the shift. You stopped sugarcoating. You stopped shrinking. You stopped editing your truth to protect the very people who tried to rewrite your story without your consent. And when you finally started telling it like it was, not how they wished it sounded, they panicked. Because the truth didn't just expose them, it cornered them. It left no room for denial, no wiggle room for gaslighting, no cozy space for manipulation. You didn't raise your voice, you raised your standard. You didn't clap back. You calmly clarified, and suddenly they started calling you arrogant. Why? Because you owned your story without apologizing for it. Because you weren't begging to be believed. You were stating facts with receipts. And when confidence comes from someone they try to erase, it feels like violence. Not because you're being cruel, but because your truth dismantles the lies they built their image on. You fought back, but not with gossip or petty revenge. You fought back with what couldn't be faked, truth. And that truth had weight. It had clarity. It had power. It didn't need to be loud to hit hard. It didn't need drama to land. It just was. And that made it devastating to people who depended on confusion to keep their stories intact. Your clarity was earned through pain, through isolation, through nights of questioning everything. But you came out on the other side with something they couldn't fabricate: self-knowledge. And when someone knows who they are, they stop asking for directions from people who've never been where they're going. They weren't mad because you lied. They were mad because you told the truth and didn't flinch when it disrupted their version of events. So they slapped labels on your confidence to make themselves feel safe, arrogant, self-righteous, too bold. But the truth doesn't become less true just because it makes people uncomfortable. And the moment you chose honesty over harmony, their entire performance fell like paper walls in a storm. Number 6, they never imagined the silent one was taking notes for a revolution. They thought you were slow, disconnected, maybe even clueless. You weren't saying much, so they assumed you weren't doing much either. But what they didn't realize is that your silence wasn't emptiness. It was evidence. While they ran their mouths and played their games, you were storing information like a vault. You watched patterns repeat. You noticed who clapped when you hurt, who smiled too wide when you struggled, who subtly sabotaged and called it concern. You weren't ignoring, you were absorbing. And while they mistook you for someone too soft to strike back, you were creating a blueprint, one built on facts, not feelings. Because you weren't interested in petty revenge. You were preparing for something far more powerful: liberation. You were planning your exit, your elevation, your emancipation from anything that demanded your silence in exchange for survival. They thought you were tolerating the chaos because you didn't know better. But you did know. You just also knew that timing is everything. So you bided your time. You let them talk.
I love
You
the
let them
zesty pickles.
underestimate
They
you.
taste so
You
good.
let them believe they had you figured out. Because the more they showed their
Damn,
hand,
son,
the more you
so.
understood the full layout of the game.
But my
And when
daughter
you
made the
moved,
sausage
You didn't just
salsa
leave
is not
quietly.
hard
You
on my
shifted the
gum.
entire atmosphere.
And my
You
bread,
changed
I
the
get to
narrative.
toast it.
You redefined the power dynamic.
The bread,
The
so.
same people who once mocked your silence suddenly couldn't explain how you flipped the entire table without warning. But it wasn't without warning. You'd just been warning them in a language they never took the time to learn. Discernment. They expected an outburst, a meltdown, some dramatic display of weakness. What they got was a revolution, controlled, precise, unapologetic. You didn't come for attention. You came for freedom. And you walked away with your peace, your power, and your purpose intact, while they were still stuck in the group chat trying to figure out how the quiet one rewrote the script. The truth is, you were never quiet. You were just dangerous in disguise. Number 7, you became the proof that unlearning is a superpower. They raised you to follow rules you never agreed to. Sit still, keep quiet, don't question authority, smile even when you're breaking. And for a while, you did. You played along, thinking that obedience equals safety. That if you just followed the script, you'd be accepted, loved, protected. But all all it ever earned you was exhaustion, invisibility, and resentment that burned quietly under the surface. And then it happened. You started to unlearn. You unlearned the guilt that kept you chained to toxic loyalty. You unlearned the belief that suffering somehow made you worthy. You unlearned the lie that your voice was dangerous, your boundaries were disrespectful, or your dreams were too big. And in doing so, you started peeling off layers of false identity that were never yours to carry. That terrified people. Because unlearning is the most dangerous thing a controlled mind can do. It's the beginning of freedom. It's how empires fall and revolutions begin. They tried to shame you back into the box, used tradition as a leash, threw fear at you dressed as wisdom, and told you your awakening was rebellion. But it was never rebellion. It was
My
returning
gums is
to
tired.
your truth, your power, your divine mind. You stopped asking for permission. You stopped apologizing for
Yeah, it's so
outgrowing
good.
beliefs that never served you. And that's when your presence stopped being familiar. You no longer spoke the language of oppression, and that silence made people nervous.
Oh,
Your
shit,
freedom
I
became a
don't like
living prophecy, not just for you, but for anyone watching.
it. Let me
You
take this
became
in there.
proof that generational dysfunction can be interrupted, that programming can be rewritten,
No.
that trauma can be transformed into wisdom. And they couldn't handle it because they saw in you what they were too afraid to pursue in themselves. They called it arrogance, pride, being too woke. But deep down, they knew you had accessed something real, something that couldn't be undone. You didn't just break the mold. They couldn't even find the pieces when you were done. Because unlearning didn't make you rebellious. It made you dangerous to systems that required your silence to survive. Number 8, you did the work in the shadows. And that's why your return was so loud. They thought they left you behind. Thought you were finished, forgotten, irrelevant. While they were outperforming progress, posting highlights, selling illusions, and manufacturing applause, you were in the shadows, doing the real work. Not the glamorous kind, the brutal kind, the kind where you face yourself without distraction, where you confront the ugly truths, clean your own wounds, sit in the silence, and stay when no one claps for you. You weren't hiding. You were rebuilding. You let yourself fall apart without rushing to look okay. You didn't perform healing. You actually healed. You weren't trying to keep up appearances. You were trying to understand the patterns that kept breaking you. And you did it without an audience. No filter, no performance, just you, your pain, your truth, and your quiet determination to come back whole. So when you returned, it wasn't with noise. It was with substance. You walked back into the room with clarity. You didn't talk much, but when you did, your words carried weight. Your presence carried authority. And suddenly, people were whispering again. Not because of gossip, but because your glow was undeniable. You weren't loud. You were undeniable. What they didn't realize is that silence is a dangerous place for someone who's willing to face themselves in it.
This is Buick. Now. Buick. Exceptional by design. Get 0.9% APR on these
I had to
2025
take the
Buick models.
ibuprofen.
Plus, eligible non-GM owners get up.
Well, I can't do this until it's
Because once you do the inner work, you stop depending on outside validation. You stop asking for seats at tables you were born to flip. You stop engaging with drama,
But I got a cold
distractions, or
orange,
anything
y'all.
that doesn't serve the evolved version of you. Your comeback was thunderous because it wasn't rooted in revenge.
It's like it
It
calmed.
was rooted in truth.
It calmed the
And
nerves in my
truth, when
gums or
it's
something.
backed by healing and
Ice
time,
cream.
doesn't need to scream. It echoes. It humbles people. It shifts
So I got this,
atmospheres. It reminds everyone
something
who
the girls
watched you
got.
break
What
that
is
the
it?
real
Mango,
power is in the rebuilding,
peach
not
mango
the
for the
pretending.
Kroger. Oh yeah,
They were
you
loud
see it.
with lies, but you came back with receipts, with growth they couldn't fake,
I was trying to
with
show
peace
Facebook,
they
but
couldn't disturb. And now,
they
the
so
same
good
people who once
and they don't
overlooked
have
you are
sugar.
overwhelmed by the version of you they never thought would rise.
Hold on, let me take
But
that
rise
off.
is exactly what you did. And you did it from the ground up, in
Cause
silence,
I try
while
not to.
they slept on your
I
name.
try not to deal with stuff that
Number
have
9.
sugar in it.
They laughed when you fell, but had no language for your resurrection. They
But
had a
these are
lot to
pretty
say when
good.
you were at rock bottom. Your name was on their tongues like it was a punchline. They turned your setbacks into
But
group
when you
chat
want it,
humor.
you
They
want a
mocked
juice or
your
something.
silence, your struggle,
I'm not a
your
juice
fall
girl,
from
believe it
grace.
or not. I'm not a
And they
juice girl.
laughed with confidence because in their minds that was it for you. game over.
I'm more
They
of like a
thought your
soda,
fall
so I'm not
confirmed
even gonna be
everything
like
they
I'm a
wanted
real
to
healthy.
believe,
Hell no.
that you
I'm more
weren't
of a
as
soda
strong,
and water
as
person.
smart, as
Now I
chosen
like
as you
Pepsi,
looked. But
Cola,
what they didn't
caffeine
count
type
on
of,
was this.
or
You
I
weren't
eat
broken.
drink every day,
You
ginger
were being
ale.
rebuilt. You didn't come back just to prove them wrong.
Now when
You
I want a
came back
soda and I
because
don't want
purpose wouldn't
to
let
drink
you
a
stay
Pepsi, I
buried.
definitely
You
have
didn't
my
rush your
ginger ale.
process. You let it hurt. You let it humble you. You let it reveal you to yourself.
But believe it
You
or not,
rose not out of
I never
spite,
liked
but out
juice.
of
I don't know why.
clarity. And the version of you that came back wasn't
As a
just
kid, it used to
stronger.
taste like medicine
It
to
was
me.
untouchable. That's why they got quiet. Because the new you didn't fit into their
I
old
wanted some
jokes.
pop,
The
or
punchline expired.
just give me a
Their
water.
narrative broke under the weight of your resurrection. You didn't just survive, you
Right,
evolved
I
into
gotta go.
someone they don't even know how to address. You outgrew their language. Their shade has nowhere to land now. Their mockery sounds hollow now, because the person they laughed at, that version no longer exists. Now you walk with power that can't be explained away. You carry wisdom that couldn't be taught in safe seasons. You found your voice, and not the loud, defensive kind, but the calm,
Now that feel good.
undeniable kind that makes insecure people scatter. Your presence now calls out their smallness without saying a
I
word,
can't believe it's like my
and that's why
birthday.
they're unsettled. They had a lot of noise
I
for
would
your
never did my
downfall,
part. I would
but
have
no
watched those
words for your
films.
rise. Because witnessing your resurrection forces them to confront everything they pretended didn't exist. Your resilience, your calling, your truth. And now, every time your name is mentioned, it doesn't trigger laughter. It triggers silence, discomfort, sometimes even shame.
Mm-hmm.
Because deep down, they know they misjudged someone who was never out of the game, just being refined in the fire. Number 10, you replaced your trauma blueprint with a legacy blueprint. You weren't just healing for yourself, you were breaking chains that had wrapped around your bloodline for generations. The pain you carried didn't start with you, but it tried to end through you. And that's exactly what happened. You said no more shrinking to keep the peace, no more normalizing abuse, no more calling dysfunction tradition, no more handing trauma down like inheritance. You decided that just because you came from it didn't mean you had to continue it. That decision, that was revolutionary. Because most
That's
people
real,
stay
though.
in the cycle. They adjust to it, defend it, even teach
What
it.
the hell I
They
put
build
this?
identities around pain they never questioned. But you did something rare. You paused and studied the blueprint. The patterns, the roles, the silences, the codependent loyalty, the emotional debt. You saw it all for what it really was. Inherited trauma disguised as culture, enforced by fear. And you chose to build something different. That choice didn't come easy. You had to grieve what never was. You had to stand alone
My
when no one
Tesla's
clapped.
is jumping.
You had to face backlash from those who mistook your healing as disrespect.
Right.
Because the moment you
I
chose
used-
truth
you
over
sound like
tradition,
I'm
you
hungry
became the
right
rebel,
now.
the black sheep, the too much. But in reality, you were the architect of a new legacy, the first to break rank, the one bold enough to say, "This ends with me." You didn't just heal, you rewired your entire bloodline. You stopped running on the emotional programs of people who didn't know better, who never had the tools to process what they went through. You developed new patterns,
Come on,
ones
baby,
built
let
on
me talk to you
boundaries,
for a second.
self-worth, clarity, and truth. And now, whether they admit it or not, everyone connected to you is being impacted by that shift. Your courage is creating ripple effects in real time. You've replaced survival mode with purpose mode. You're not carrying emotional weight for a broken system. You're constructing a future that doesn't depend on someone else's pain to function. That's legacy. That's what makes you the blueprint breaker, not just a survivor. You didn't just disrupt the system, you rewrote it. Number 11. You were the lesson disguised as the target. They thought you were the weak link, the naive one, the easy one to blame when things fell apart. They tried to make an example out of you, but what they didn't realize was you were the example they were meant to learn from. You weren't a mistake. You weren't some random target. You were divinely placed in their lives to be the mirror, the trigger, the reckoning. You were never the fool. You were the final lesson dressed like a familiar face. They picked you because they thought you'd stay silent. They picked you because you didn't bark back when they threw shade. Because you showed empathy instead of ego. Because you had that quiet kind of power that gets mistaken for weakness by people who only understand noise. But behind that calm was discernment, a gift, A knowing that most people couldn't explain, so they underestimated it. Bad move. Because what they didn't understand is that chosen ones come bearing consequences. You didn't fight dirty, you didn't need to. Your presence alone exposed everything fake around you. The lies, the manipulation, the dysfunction. And the harder they came for you, the more their masks slipped. Until there was nothing left for them to hide behind. You didn't destroy them. They self-destructed, trying to destroy you. And now, they warn others. They drop vague quotes online. They tell the story sideways, leaving out key parts where they were the villain. But the tone has changed. They've been humbled. Because being burned by someone they thought was nothing special shook them at the core. You weren't just another chapter. They're still living in the aftermath of your correction. You were never sent to blend in. You were sent to disrupt, to reroute entire karmic loops, to show people what happens when divine energy is mistaken for weakness. You didn't just survive, you altered their storyline. And whether they admit it or not, they learned. You were the lesson they couldn't ignore, wrapped in the soul they thought they could handle. Now they walk away saying things like, never mess with a chosen one. And they say it from experience, not wisdom. Because you were the divine trapdoor. And once they stepped on you thinking it was a game, the whole floor collapsed under their illusion. Number 12, you fought invisible battles, and that's what made you inevitable. They saw the glow up, but missed the gut-wrenching nights that built it. They noticed your strength, but overlooked the silent wars you had to win to even stand. What they call your luck is really just the aftershock of invisible battles they'll never comprehend. Because the truth is, your transformation didn't start when the world noticed you. It started when you were alone, in the dark, wrestling with thoughts that tried to convince you to quit. That's when the real history was made. While others were busy curating perfect lives on the surface, you were facing your deepest wounds with no audience. You fought through shame that wasn't even yours. You broke mental patterns that were wired into you before you could even talk. You had to unlearn, reparent yourself, and silence voices in your head that sounded like family, but spoke like enemies. And you did it quietly. Not for claps, not for pity, but because something in your spirit wouldn't let you stay where you were. That's what made you inevitable. You kept choosing growth over comfort. You kept saying no to toxicity even when it felt familiar. You kept pushing forward not because it was easy, but because your soul knew there was something on the other side worth becoming. You refused to shrink just to be accepted. You said goodbye to people who demanded your silence. You buried versions of yourself that you had once built your entire identity around. And no one saw it. No one clapped for it. But that's the thing. Real growth is invisible at first. And now, you walk into rooms and people feel something they can't name. It's the weight of battles you survived. It's the clarity you earned. It's the peace that took years to piece together. You don't haunt their memory because you're trying to. You haunt them because you overcame everything they hoped would destroy you. And you did it without needing a stage. They didn't see your rise coming because they weren't supposed to. Inevitable things move in silence. And by the time they appear, it's already too late to stop them. You didn't just win, you rewrote the rules of survival. And now, you are the history they'll never forget. Number 13. Your life became evidence that destiny can't be canceled. They thought if they ignored you long enough, you'd disappear. If they smeared your name loud enough, no one would listen. If they isolated you deep enough, you'd fold under the weight of it. They tried to cancel your name before your story could even be told. But what they failed to understand is that destiny doesn't operate by democracy. Purpose doesn't bend to public opinion. And divine timing doesn't care how many people voted against you. When it's time, and no lie, no exile, no whisper campaign can shut down what heaven already greenlit. They didn't just doubt you, they colluded against you, called in favors, formed alliances, drew circles and made sure you were outside of them, all in hopes of keeping you small, hidden, irrelevant. But the irony, everything they did to erase you only refined you. It built your resistance, it sharpened your discernment, it trained you to survive without validation, without applause, and without a single handout. They underestimated the divine infrastructure around your life. Because you weren't self-made, you were spirit called. And that calling, It doesn't expire. It doesn't detour because of public opinion. It doesn't get revoked because people can't handle your light. So while they were busy trying to cancel you, you were busy becoming undeniable, building slowly, healing deeply, growing in silence. And when your moment finally came, it wasn't a comeback. It was confirmation, not just for you, but for everyone watching. Now you're the proof, the evidence, the walking contradiction to their entire agenda. You're the person who wasn't supposed to survive, let alone thrive, the one they bet against publicly. And now, the same mouths that doubted you are choking on your name, not because you rubbed your success in their faces, but because your very existence is a rebuke to the lies they spread. Your life became a sermon, a counter-narrative, a divine clapback that no PR team could spin. You didn't just survive their attempts to bury you, you bloomed in the dirt they threw. And now, whether they like it or not, you're here, you're seen, you're chosen, and no one, not even a room full of gatekeepers, can cancel
Why,
what
thank
God
you,
has
Father.
already
You are
released.
so kind.
Number 14, you didn't just break free. You became the blueprint. They underestimated what your freedom would cost them, not just in silence, but in influence. Because when you broke free, you didn't just escape a system. You dismantled a blueprint that had been passed down for generations, one rooted in fear, silence, guilt, and control. You didn't just walk away from dysfunction. You exposed it. And in doing so, you became living proof that the cycle can be broken. And that alone is more disruptive than any speech or protest. Could ever be. People didn't understand you when you were in survival mode. They called you too sensitive, too distant, too different. But what they couldn't see was that you were deconstructing everything. You were unlearning the roles they handed you. You were pulling the roots out of inherited trauma while still trying to function in a world that expected your loyalty to your own oppression. And that kind of healing, it doesn't look pretty. It looks like distance, like detachment, like walking away without closure, because the closure was the lie they kept using to keep you trapped. But you didn't just heal, you transformed. And you did it in such a way that now people who once judged your rebellion are secretly studying your peace. They don't say it out loud, but they're watching how you carry yourself, how you set boundaries without guilt, how you love without losing yourself, how you walk away without looking back. Your life became a manual for what healing looks like when it's not filtered through performance.
Okay, I see.
And now,
I see.
you're the reference, the blueprint, the one they quote without credit. This is legacy, not the one you inherited, but the one you built. Your evolution is being echoed in people who never met you but are inspired by your story. Your resilience is rippling through timelines you'll never see. And that's what they never prepared for, that the same person they once mocked would become the standard. You didn't just break free, you became the roadmap, the compass, the spark. And because of you, others now believe they can be free too. That's not revenge, that's revolution. They thought they were watching your downfall, but they were witnessing your divine setup. They thought you were the storyline they could close, but you turned out to be the plot twist no one saw coming. You didn't just come back, you came back changed, with clarity in your eyes, fire in your steps, and purpose running through your veins like electricity. And now, the same people who mocked your silence, who counted you out, who formed circles without you, are standing in quiet confusion, trying to make sense of a version of you they never believed could exist. This
I
wasn't
was
just a
daydreaming.
comeback. It was
Just
a
now,
correction.
smiling.
Not to prove yourself to
I don't know
anyone,
what
but to
I
prove
forgot
the
what I was
truth
just
of
thinking.
what
That's
was
just so
always in you. Because when destiny has
stranger
your
things.
name on it, you don't need a crowd. You don't need hype.
I just
You don't
remember
even need
smiling.
revenge. All you need is alignment. And that alignment, it showed up when you chose truth over ego, healing over
Come on,
pretending, and
baby.
evolution over acceptance. You weren't just fighting battles, they were spiritual initiations. You were being trained in the dark for a stage built by light. You weren't delayed, you were preserved. And now that your steps are undeniable, your presence speaks louder than
Hey,
their
y'all, I
rumors
wasn't
ever
even
could.
looking at the
You're not
thing.
here to fit in. You're here to interrupt,
I was really
to
daydreaming.
expose systems, cycles, and masks, to remind the world what happens when a chosen one refuses to stay small. So walk boldly, walk fully, walk like someone who didn't just survive,
but who redefined survival.
Mm.
You made history not with noise, but with truth. You turned pain into power.
Yes,
You
baby.
turned silence into strategy. And whether they whisper your name in jealousy, admiration, or regret, it doesn't matter.
I get
Because
it.
you already did the impossible.
Yes.
Now it's your turn to stand tall in the spotlight that was always yours.
What you
And
say?
if this message stirred something deep inside you, go ahead and subscribe to this
What
channel.
you
Like,
say,
comment, and
boy?
share this video with someone who needs to remember who they are. You're not alone in this. You're part of a movement, a revolution of
For the
risen.
boys and girls
And trust
all
me,
across the
your
world.
name is still echoing in places where they never wanted you to be remembered. Let's make sure they never forget. If this message hit home, if it stirred something in your spirit or reminded you of just how powerful your journey truly is, then don't keep it to yourself. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a word meant for you. Like this video if it spoke truth to your situation. Comment below and let us know which part hit the hardest. We read every word. And don't forget to share this with someone else who needs that reminder that their destiny can't be stopped, no matter how many tried to silence them. This isn't just content, it's confirmation. And trust me, the
This is
journey only
I
gets
told
deeper
y'all
from here. God
the
bless you.
Anointed Path on YouTube. So YouTube, you got the whole city deciding what you choosing. You got them. Okay, so I guess we'll play what YouTube is telling me to listen to. Chill, and then compare.
Chosen one, those who once spoke against you are now choking on their own words as their credibility crumbles before everyone's eyes. What they claimed about you is being exposed as fabrication, leaving them in a position where they must either publicly retract or continue losing face. A mass shift in perception is occurring as people awaken to the truth of who you really are. The support for you is growing exponentially, with individuals who once stood on the sidelines now openly declaring their allegiance to your cause. Among those who plotted against you, there's one in particular who's drowning in regret. Their decision to work against you has resulted in consequences they never anticipated, leaving them to reckon with the karmic backlash of opposing someone divinely appointed.
Okay, I heard this video.
While
I
the
saw
masses
this one.
remained blind to your struggle, we recognize the divine.
Okay, I saw this one, but YouTube sent it to me just that time. So now I'm gonna start my app again, and until it glitched. Pretty much. Sorry. Okay. It did it. It like completely almost turned my phone off too.
Right now, three impossible things just happened that guarantee this
And the other
evil
one, let
person's
them know
complete
you're
destruction.
destined
Thing
for
number
more.
one,
So they
this evil
didn't
person
abandon
just
you.
made their biggest
God
mistake
removed
ever
them.
and handed you the keys
You
to
just
their
went.
downfall. Thing number two, a secret ally just
Just
delivered the
chill,
final
that's
piece of
fine.
evidence that seals their fate. Thing number three, their
I'm about
most
to let this
trusted
thing go out
protector
again.
just
You seen
switched
shit down
sides
this
and is now working to destroy them.
No one
Your
thought to ask
revelation
your
is
side
going
of
to
the
trigger
story.
the
It's
biggest
next.
corruption explosion in modern history. While they've been living their best life, thinking they buried your story so deep it would never surface, 5 separate investigations have been building cases against them. 5. And none of these investigators even know about the others. Yet, investigation number 1, the FBI Financial Crimes Unit has been tracking their money laundering operation. Investigation number 2, a team of investigative
So I'm gonna try to keep the
journalists has
app
been
on this because if I move, it's gonna give me a different video. This was the next one.
following their
After this
connection
one,
to 3
I mean, this one was on the
unsolved
feed, and this
cases.
one is in my notification.
Investigation number 3,
Like the
internal
most
affairs at
relevant.
their
One.
own company has been building a harassment file thicker than a phone book. Investigation number 4, the State Attorney General's office has been examining their political bribes. Investigation number 5, this one will blow your
That tastes
mind.
good. This
Their own
cheese.
family lawyer has has been secretly documenting everything as insurance. The security system they thought they had disabled, still running on backup power. The phone
It
that was
gives me
supposedly
like
turned
passion
off.
fruit. It tastes so good.
Connected to a
And I
cloud
love passion
service
fruit.
they forgot existed. The witness they paid to disappear, been talking to federal agents. While you've been building your new life, transforming from victim to victor, becoming the successful, credible, unstoppable force you are today, they've been digging their own grave deeper and deeper. Every day they thought they were getting away with it. They were actually creating more evidence. You know what's even more incredible? The person who's about to hand you the keys to their
I'm just singing
destruction
it too.
is someone they trust completely.
Kroger.
Someone who's been in their inner circle for years.
Oh, Trina.
Someone who knows where all the bodies are buried.
That was Trina who sung
That
that
someone just reached their breaking point.
with somebody else.
Recently, this evil person crossed a line
You say,
they
tell me
should
to a
never
place
have
where I
crossed.
ain't got it.
They heard someone this insider cares about deeply. Someone innocent. Someone who reminds this insider of you. All those years ago when you were powerless and alone, this insider has been keeping records for years. Not because they plan to betray this evil person, but because they're smart enough to know that eventually this evil person would come for them too. Self-preservation is a powerful motivator. The files this person has collected would make your head spin. Financial records showing exactly where every dirty dollar went. Audio recordings of this evil person bragging about their crimes. Video footage of meetings that were supposed to be secret. Email chains that read like confessions. Text messages that would make a prosecutor weep with joy. Remember when you thought you were the only victim? Wrong. Dead wrong. There are 17 other people with stories identical to yours. 17. And 6 of them are even more successful than you are now. 3 of them are celebrities. 2 of them are politicians. 1 of them runs a billion-dollar company. This evil person didn't just make one enemy when they hurt you. They made 18 enemies. And now all 18 of you are about to discover each other's existence. The secret network that's been building around your case includes people who would shock you. That celebrity who's always talking about justice on social media, they've been investigating this evil person for years. That politician who's known for taking down corruption, this evil person destroyed their sister. That billionaire CEO who's famous for ethical business practices, this evil person stole their first company. Your truth isn't just going to expose on crime, it's going to trigger the biggest corruption scandal in decades. We're talking about a coordinated revelation that will hit them from 23 different directions simultaneously. The timing couldn't be more perfect. The media is hungry for a real story. The public is demanding accountability.
The
The
agent
political
said,
climate is toxic for anyone
"You gonna
connected
use
to
your
corruption.
situation, baby.
You're not just speaking into a void,
If
you're
they want to
speaking
move
into a
fast.
perfect
Here
storm
you go.
that's been waiting for exactly this moment. This evil person's greatest strength is about to become their greatest weakness. Their public reputation, their political connections, their business empire, all of it built on the foundation of destroying you, is about to become the evidence that destroys them. Every success they've had since they hurt you can be traced back to that original crime. The promotion they got came from silencing you. The business deal that made them rich, funded with money they should have paid in damages. The political position they hold, won by blackmailing people who know their secrets. Their rise to power isn't a success story. It's a crime spree with a paper trail. The insider who's about to betray them has been documenting everything for one simple reason. They knew this day would come. They knew that eventually someone like you would emerge. Someone strong enough, credible enough, powerful enough to take this evil person down. You've become the chosen one they always feared you'd become. While they thought they were watching you struggle and fail, you were actually becoming the one person they could never discredit, never silence, never destroy. Your transformation from victim to victor isn't just inspiring, it's terrifying to them. You built credibility while they built lies. You gained respect while they gained enemies. You developed integrity while they developed paranoia. This evil person has been having nightmares lately, not because they feel guilty. People like them don't feel guilt, but because they sense something shifting. They can feel the walls closing in, even if they can't identify the threat. Their instincts are correct. The threat is real. The threat is massive. The threat is you. The moment you decide to speak up, you won't be standing alone. The insider is ready to release everything. The other victims are ready to come forward. The investigators are ready to file charges. The journalists are ready to publish. The prosecutors are ready to indict. Your voice becomes the signal that triggers the avalanche. One truth from you, and 17 other truths follow. One revelation from you, and 23 investigations go public. One testimony from you, and an entire criminal empire collapses. This evil person's attempts to control the narrative are going to backfire spectacularly. Every lawyer they hire will reveal more about their desperation. Every public relations firm they engage will create more attention. Every attempt to discredit you will only make them look more guilty. Their own success has created the platform for their destruction.
Never can stop kids from using shirts to wipe their.
The media connections they cultivated become the channels through which their crimes are exposed. The political relationships they built for protection become the very relationships that abandon them. The business network they developed becomes the web that traps them. You want to know what happens when someone who's built their entire identity on being untouchable suddenly becomes completely vulnerable? Total psychological collapse. This evil person is about to discover that all their power was an illusion, and you're the reality check they never saw coming. The beautiful irony is that they created their own destroyer. By hurting you, they forged you into someone strong enough to defeat them. By trying to silence you, they gave you a voice that echoes across continents. By attempting to break you, they made you unbreakable. Every person they've hurt since you has been more ammunition for the war that's about to begin. Every crime they've committed has been more evidence for the case that's about to convict them. Every day they've lived free has been borrowed time that's about to expire. The insider who's about to betray them has been planning this moment for years. They've been waiting for the right victim to emerge, the right political climate, the right media attention. They've been waiting for you. The files they're about to release will end careers, destroy reputations, and send people to prison. We're talking about evidence so damning, so comprehensive, so irrefutable, that even this evil person's most loyal supporters will abandon them. Their inner circle is about to scatter like cockroaches when the lights come on. Every person who's been protecting them will suddenly discover urgent business elsewhere. Loyalty bought with corruption evaporates the moment that corruption becomes public knowledge. This evil person's family members are going to claim ignorance. Their business partners are going to produce evidence of their own victimization. Their political allies are going to demand investigations. Their friends are going to delete their contact information. You're not just exposing a criminal. You're dismantling a criminal enterprise that spans multiple industries, multiple countries, multiple decades. Your one truth is the thread that when pulled unravels an entire tapestry of corruption.
On YouTube, if y'all want to
The
go to their
following is
channel
a message from
on
Mike,
your own.
founder of the Obsidian Inner Order, powered by Astral
Look
Atom.
how
Look, I know you came here for your chosen
coordinated
one video, but
my
I need a
energy
minute.
was to
If
catch
I
it
don't
like a
speak
whole
this into the
AI
field
ad.
now, I might never forgive myself. Some of us were born into
It was the
fire,
music that did it to
abused,
me.
exiled, haunted by
Okay,
truths no one around us could hold. That doesn't mean we're cursed. It means we were chosen to walk through the veil and come back with the map. Inside the Obsidian Inner Order, we gather every week, live on Zoom, face to face. And when I say real people, I mean it. A former military drone operator who now uses his mind as the remote. A millionaire CFO who walked away from everything to become a psychic in Noosa. A spiritual healer once trapped inside a satanic cult. A seer, a sage, a soul who left Mormonism and found the Gnosis instead. These are the ones who gave it all up when their calling hit. And that's just a glimpse. And every call is recorded. So when you're alone, when you're crawling through the dirt of your own awakening, you can press play and feel the field again. This is not for everyone, but maybe it's for you. Can you see yourself among us? Join the Obsidian Inner Order. Link in the
I gotta do my
description.
videos
Thank you
professional
for
like that, y'all.
supporting the broadcast. We quite literally could not do this
I'm just
without
gonna do
you.
my funny because I'm a funny
The ripple
person.
effects of your revelation will reach
Sarcasm.
places you never imagined. Other victims around the world will find the courage to speak up. Other
I
investigations
think I'm
will
gonna do it
suddenly
on
have
a
the
chat
evidence they need.
on a new
Other
channel though,
journalists will finally have
so that I
the
could test the
sources willing
waters
to
to
go
see if
on
I can
record.
make somebody.
Your
I'm not
story
gonna show my
becomes the
face on it.
spark that ignites
Just
a
like
global movement for
make it
accountability.
a,
Your courage becomes contagious. Your truth becomes
I'm
unstoppable.
trying to do that.
This
I
evil
just
person's downfall won't be quiet or private. It's going to be the most public, most documented, most analyzed
I
destruction
got all the
of a corrupt
healing
power
right though.
structure in modern history. Every aspect of their collapse will be broadcast, recorded, shared, and studied. Their legacy won't be their achievements, it will be their crimes. Their name won't be associated with success, it will be synonymous with corruption. Their story won't inspire others to follow in their footsteps. It will serve as a warning about what happens when you mess with a chosen
Come on,
one.
baby, let me talk to you
The
for a
moment
second.
you speak up, you don't just get justice for yourself. You get justice for every person they've ever hurt. You get justice for every victim they've silenced. You get justice for every life they've destroyed. Your voice becomes the voice of justice itself. Your story becomes the story that changes everything. Your courage becomes the catalyst that transforms the world. Now let me tell you about the 3 secret weapons you don't even know you have. Secret weapon number 1. This evil person's own technology is about to expose them. Remember all those deleted emails? They exist on 17 different backup servers. Those destroyed documents, photographed and stored in secure locations. Those wiped hard drives. The data recovery team has been working on them. Secret weapon number 2. Their current victims are about to become your allies. Right. Now there are 12 people suffering under this evil person's corruption who don't even know about you. When your story breaks, they're going to realize they're not alone. They're going to find each other. They're going to coordinate their testimonies. Secret weapon number 3. This evil person's own arrogance is going to destroy them. They've become so confident in their invincibility that they've stopped being careful. Recent emails show them admitting to crimes. Recent phone calls have them bragging about cover-ups. Recent meetings have them planning new attacks on innocent people. The evidence against them isn't just comprehensive, it's overwhelming. We're talking about a case so airtight that their own defense attorneys are going to recommend plea bargains. We're talking about documentation so extensive that the prosecution is going to have trouble deciding which charges to file first. This evil person's greatest fear has always been exposure, not punishment, exposure. They can handle consequences in private. They can't handle humiliation in public. They'd rather face prison than face the world knowing what they really are. Your revelation is going to do something worse than send them to jail. It's going to strip away their mask in front of everyone they've ever tried to impress. It's going to reveal their true nature to every person who's ever admired them. The social destruction is going to be swift and total. Within hours of your testimony going public, their social media will be flooded with condemnation. Their business partners will be issuing statements of disassociation. Their political allies will be calling for investigations. The psychological
You gotta
impact
pay
of this
your
evil
dues,
person
so make
is going
sure
to be
you
devastating.
do the best that
They've
you
built their
can
entire
do
identity around
for your
being powerful,
son and
respected,
your,
untouchable.
and your
Your truth
daughter
is going
and
to
your
shatter that
father.
identity completely. They're going to discover that they're not the person they thought they were. They're exactly the person you always knew they were.
Say hello to the new Topo Chico Hard Max with more margarita flavor and 8% ABV.
The timing of your revelation couldn't be more perfect. The cultural moment is primed for accountability. The political climate is hungry for justice. The media landscape is desperate for authentic stories. You're not just speaking your truth. You're speaking the truth that everyone has been waiting to hear. The domino effect of your courage is going to be extraordinary. Every victim who's been silenced by powerful people is going to see what you've accomplished and find their own voice. Every witness who's been intimidated into silence is going to see your strength and find their own courage. Your story becomes the template for taking down corrupt power structures. Your methods become the playbook for future justice seekers. Your success becomes the proof that truth really can triumph over power. This evil person thought they could control the narrative by controlling the messengers. They never realized that truth has a way of finding its own voice. They never understood that justice has a way of creating its own champions. They never grasped that karma has a way of choosing its own instruments. You are truth finding its voice. You are justice creating its champion. You are karma choosing its instrument. This evil person's network of corruption extends far beyond what anyone realizes. Your revelation is going to expose connections that will shock the world. Political figures you never suspected, business leaders you never imagined, social influencers you never considered. The investigation that follows your testimony is going to uncover a web of corruption so vast, so complex, so interconnected that it will redefine how we understand power and accountability in society. Your one truth is going to unlock 1,000 other truths. This evil person's victims aren't just the people they hurt directly. They're also the people who were denied opportunities because of corruption. The people who lost jobs because of retaliation. The people who gave up dreams because of intimidation. Your courage to speak up gives voice to all of them. Your willingness to fight gives strength to all of them. Your determination to seek justice gives hope to all of them. This evil person made one critical error in judgment. They assumed that destroying you would eliminate the threat you posed. They never considered that destroying you might actually create a greater threat. They never imagined that your destruction might forge you into someone unstoppable. They turned you into the chosen one through their own actions. Every attack they launched against you made you stronger. Every attempt to silence you gave you more to say. Every effort to destroy you built you into someone indestructible. The evidence that's about to surface will show a pattern of behavior spanning decades. We're not talking about isolated incidents or momentary lapses in judgment. We're talking about a systematic approach to using power to harm innocent people. The documentation is extensive. The witnesses are credible. The physical evidence is irrefutable. The digital trail is comprehensive. The financial records are damning. The testimony is devastating. Your moment of truth isn't just going to expose what happened to you. It's going to reveal this evil person's entire modus operandi. It's going to show the world exactly how predators operate when they think no one is watching. This evil person's greatest strength, their ability to inspire loyalty through fear and benefits, is about to become their greatest weakness. Every person they've controlled is a potential witness. Every person they've corrupted is a potential whistleblower. Every person they've silenced is a potential truth teller. The avalanche has already started. The momentum is building. The outcome is inevitable. The only question now is whether this evil person will face their reckoning with dignity or denial. Your voice is about to become the most powerful force in their universe. Your truth is about to become their ultimate reality. Your justice is about to become their final judgment. Something else is happening that this evil person doesn't know about. 3 international organizations have been tracking their activities. The first organization represents victims of corruption worldwide. The second organization monitors corporate crime across borders. The third organization specializes in bringing down powerful predators who think they're above the law. All 3 organizations have been building files on this evil person for years. They've been waiting for someone like you to emerge. Someone with credibility, courage, and the evidence to make their case stick. Your revelation is going to trigger something unprecedented, a coordinated international effort to expose and prosecute this evil person. We're talking about resources you never imagined, support you never expected, and allies you never knew existed.
Checkers and Rally's $4 unbeatable meal deal changes everything. Your choice of sandwich plus fries, drink.
This evil person has been operating under the assumption that their influence is limited to their local sphere. They have no idea that their crimes have attracted attention from organizations that operate on a global scale. These organizations have resources that dwarf anything this evil person has ever imagined. They have investigators in every major city. They have contacts in every significant government. They have relationships with every major media outlet. When you speak up, you're not just triggering a local scandal. You're initiating a global campaign for justice. This evil person's international connections are going to become liabilities instead of assets. Every foreign business partner is going to distance themselves. Every overseas political ally is going to cut ties. Every international supporter is going to abandon them. Your story is going to be translated into dozens of languages. Your testimony is going to be broadcast on networks around the world. Your courage is going to inspire movements in countries you've never visited. This evil person thought they were big fish in a small pond. They're about to discover they're actually small fish in an ocean full of predators much bigger than they are. The international organizations that have been tracking this evil person are also tracking their associates. Every person who has enabled this evil person's crimes is also being monitored. Every person who has profited from this evil person's corruption is also being investigated. Your revelation isn't just going to bring down this evil person. It's going to bring down their entire network of enablers, accomplices, and co-conspirators. We're talking about a purge of corruption that spans multiple countries, multiple industries, and multiple levels of government and business. This evil person's crimes against you were just the beginning. They were the entry point into a much larger investigation of systematic abuse, corruption, and criminal activity. Your courage to speak up about what happened to you is going to expose crimes that affect millions of people. Your willingness to seek justice for yourself is going to deliver justice for countless others. This evil person has been living in a bubble of their own creation. They've surrounded themselves with people who tell them what they want to hear. They've insulated themselves from the consequences of their actions. They've convinced themselves that they're untouchable. Your truth is going to pop that bubble permanently. The psychological shock is going to be devastating. This evil person has built their entire worldview around the assumption that they can get away with anything. Your revelation is going to shatter that assumption completely. They're going to discover that every person they trusted has been keeping records. Every conversation they thought was private has been documented. Every crime they thought was hidden has been exposed. This evil person's reaction to your revelation is going to be predictable and pathetic. They're going to try to discredit you. They're going to attempt to intimidate you. They're going to make desperate offers to buy your silence. All of these reactions are going to make them look more guilty. Every desperate move they make will confirm the truth of your testimony. Every attack they launch will generate more support for your cause. This evil person's downfall is going to become a case study in how corruption destroys itself. Their story is going to be taught in business schools as an example of how unethical behavior leads to inevitable consequences. Your story is going to be taught as an example of how courage and integrity can triumph over power and corruption. This evil person's name is going to become synonymous with everything wrong with unchecked power. Your name is going to become synonymous with everything right about standing up for justice. When everything comes together, when all the pieces fall into place, when the full scope of the revelation unfolds, this evil person will finally understand what they're really dealing with. They're not dealing with the powerless victim they remember. They're dealing with a chosen one who's been preparing for this moment their entire life. The reckoning isn't coming. The reckoning is here, and you're the one delivering it.
My life is animated. And you know, you make me better. YouTube just sent me chosen one. You survived. Google just tried to charge me how much? No way. Son of a bitch. $69.99. Are you out of your mind? It was declined. Come here, baby. Let me talk to you for a second. There's nothing I won't do to spend my life with.
When the universe protects someone, even snakes start hissing at each other because they know they can't get close. Let me break it down for you. This isn't imagination. This is real. The ones who used to whisper behind your back, who plotted together, who laughed when you were down, they're not standing united anymore. They're snapping at each other now. What started as teamwork to take you down has turned into backstabbing, jealousy, and paranoia. They don't even trust each other anymore. And the reason is simple. You. Not because you're attacking, not because you've done anything, but because the universe won't let them touch you. Every move they made against you backfired. Every word they spoke behind closed doors is echoing back louder than they expected. And now they're afraid. They feel blocked, watched, exposed. They're throwing blame at each other like it's hot coals, because someone, anyone, has to be the reason why nothing they tried worked. They don't know that it wasn't bad planning. It wasn't timing. It was protection. You were protected the entire time. They weren't fighting you. They were fighting the force that chose you. And now that force, that alignment of the universe around your name, it's showing up and it's showing out. They wanted you weak, silent, broken, easy to take down. But instead, you became something they couldn't control. They watched you survive what should have destroyed you. And now they can't explain it. They can't make sense of how you're still here, still rising. But here's what's worse for them. You did it without saying a word. You didn't clap back. You didn't chase revenge. You just kept standing. And that is what's making them fall apart. So before we go any further, do this. Like and subscribe. Not for me, but for the others out there who are chosen too, and don't even know it yet. This message, it's a signal. And when you engage, it tells the algorithm that this truth matters. It helps this message reach the ones who think they're alone, who are still doubting their worth, just like you once did. Now let's really talk. Being chosen is not a soft blessing. It's a weight. It's a target. It means you're not just surviving life.
And it's so
You're
cold,
bending it
they
around your
know
existence,
it's
and people feel that.
wrong.
Even before you
So
know who you are, they do.
I-
That's why the attacks come early. That's why the betrayal feels so personal.
No, I
Because
have a
your light,
chance
even dimmed,
here.
messes with their shadows.
It's so cold,
And let me be
they
blunt,
know
you
it's
doubted yourself.
wrong.
You thought you were alone.
It's so
You looked at the silence and mistook it for abandonment. You let the rejection make you question your identity.
looking
And
for my
that's where you messed up. You forgot that when the universe chooses someone, it doesn't need a crowd to confirm it. It doesn't post proof. It protects in silence and then reveals in power. That's what's happening now. They can't reach you, and it's making them unravel. You are untouchable, not because you're perfect, but because you're aligned. You carry something they can't replicate, something they can't fake. And when they realize they can't break you, they start trying to break each other. That's the chaos you're seeing now. The same people who once stood shoulder to shoulder trying to pull you down are now pulling each other apart. And no, it's not karma in the poetic sense. It's truth catching up. It's the universe closing ranks around you because it knows what you carry, because it knows who you are. They're turning on each other not because you're a threat, but because you're not available to be played with anymore. Your peace is protected. Your energy is gated. You've become off limits. And when people can't access you, they destroy whatever's around them. Let that sink in. This is what the power of being chosen does. So the next time you feel overlooked or isolated, remember this. You're not alone. You're surrounded. Not by people, but by purpose. The universe has stepped in, and that's why they're falling apart. Because heaven, whatever you call it, won't let them touch you. So now the question is, are you paying attention, or are you still asleep to your own power? Because if you're really chosen, you'll feel this in your chest. The shift has already started, and it's not random. They're turning on each other because the universe made you untouchable. Drop the number 77 in the comments if you're done doubting, done shrinking, and ready to see exactly how deep this goes. What's coming next will explain everything. Stay with me. If you're ready to face the truth they never wanted you to know. Let's begin.
Cracky.
Number 1. They messed with the system. Now it's tearing them apart. When the universe locks the door around a chosen one, anyone still trying to force their way in ends up crushed in the mechanism. You didn't have to lift a finger. You didn't have to fight back. You didn't even have to defend yourself. The very system they thought they could cheat, the one they thought they could manipulate, is turning on them now. And it's ugly. It's loud. It's out of control. This isn't just drama. It's collapse. The group that once worked together, schemed together, plotted together, they're falling apart, one by one. Publicly, silently, or spiritually. It doesn't matter. The universe doesn't forget. The universe keeps receipts. And now, every single thing they did to try to touch you, block you, slander you, or control you, it's all coming back around like a storm they thought they could outrun. Some of them are waking up. You know why? Because they're starting to see the truth they tried to deny. You weren't the target.
They lost,
You were the
they
test.
dead and
And
gone.
they failed. Spectacularly. The energy has shifted. Hard. Some of them feel it in their sleep. Some feel it in the way everything is going wrong for them. Others feel it in the fear they can't explain. The paranoia they try to hide. The dreams that wake them up sweating in the middle of the night. They're not just losing peace. They're losing control. because they touched something they had no business touching. They were playing games with universal law, and now the law is enforcing itself. That's what happens when you move against someone who was never meant to be touched.
When I was on the road, I was paying my tolls.
Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. Like the people who keep this country moving. For them, only America.
And let me say this to you, the chosen one. You forgot who you are for a minute, didn't you? You thought being alone meant being unprotected. You thought silence meant abandonment. You looked at the attacks and the quiet and the delays and thought, maybe I'm not chosen after all. But here's the scolding you need. Stop thinking so small. Chosen people don't get to have normal lives. Chosen people don't get to blend in. Chosen people don't get peace before purpose. When the universe selects you, it doesn't give you comfort. It gives you weight. And that weight, your presence, your energy, your voice, was what they feared. So they grouped up, they plotted, they tried to move against you, but they didn't know one thing. They weren't fighting you. They were fighting the system that protects you. And when you come up against the system, the universal force that aligns to protect the chosen, it doesn't argue, it doesn't warn twice. It breaks you down until you either fall apart or face what you did. Now look at them. The ones who once spoke against you are now speaking against each other. The alliance is rotting. The fake friendships are unraveling. They're whispering behind each other's backs, trying to escape the very mess they helped create. Some are trying to jump ship, realizing too late that your name has power attached to it, that there are consequences, and they feel it now. This isn't guilt. This is fear. Fear of being exposed. Fear of being caught in the backlash. Fear of standing too close to your name while it glows with protection they can't penetrate. You were marked long before you knew it. The universe placed something on you that isn't for decoration. It's for defense. It keeps you covered in places you don't even know you're vulnerable. That's why the things meant to break you only bruised you. That's why the words meant to destroy you bounced back on them. That's why the weapons they aimed at you are now slicing each other. And yet you still sit there questioning why you feel so distant from everyone, why people ghost you, why they avoid eye contact, why the people who once loved being around you now feel uncomfortable in your presence. Here's the answer. You're not one of them. You were never meant to blend in. The universe didn't choose you to keep you safe. It chose you to carry fire, and that fire burns people who were never real to begin with. They're learning now, the hard way. You weren't the problem. You were the mirror. And they smashed the mirror, thinking it would hide their reflection. Now the system is turning on them. Because you can lie to people. You can lie to yourself. But you can't lie to the force that keeps the universe balanced. You were the one they couldn't break. And that's why they're breaking now. One betrayal at a time. One fight at a time. One exposed lie at a time. Let it happen. Don't save them. Don't explain. Don't step back in the fire just to prove you survived it. Just watch. Because they're turning on each other. And it's not because you're dangerous. It's because you're untouchable. Number 2. They thought they had you. Now watch their empire fall apart. When the universe steps in, even the strongest lies start to crack, and those who built them start tearing each other down to hide the truth. You need to see this clearly. The plan they made against you, it's falling apart faster than they can keep up with.
Baby,
What was once a solid front,
if I could take
a
it back, I
united
don't
force
mean
set
it
to take you
no.
down,
If I go
has turned into a mess of blame, fear, and
and
chaos.
Lord,
The very
let me
people who
hate
marched together to
Lord.
destroy your peace are now turning on each other like wild dogs fighting over scraps. And here's the thing, they're not scared of you. They're terrified of what's behind you. You might be wondering, why are they breaking apart now? Why are they so desperate to point fingers and rewrite their stories? The answer isn't you. It's something far bigger, something they don't understand but can't escape. The universe is intervening, not softly, not quietly, but with a force that shakes the very ground beneath them. They thought they were in control. They believed their plans were clever enough, their lies well crafted enough, their alliances strong enough to bury your truth and keep you silent. But what they didn't know was that the universe was already aligning against them, quietly dismantling their foundation piece by piece. What you're seeing isn't coincidence, it's a sign that the power behind you is real and unstoppable. They're scared now, not just because you survived, not just because you're still here, but because the system they thought they played is breaking. The rules they twisted to fit their narrative are snapping back on them. The walls they built to cage you, they're crumbling, and those inside are turning on each other, desperate to shift blame before the collapse consumes them all. Some of them are whispering behind closed doors, blaming the others for the failure. Some are openly accusing former allies, exposing secrets they once swore to keep.
Panoxyl's been blocking blackheads since V-Force.
Yeah,
Panoxyl, the active 40 since 1972.
The unity they flaunted was a lie, and now the lie is eating itself alive. And you're watching from the sidelines, probably wondering if you should step in, fight back, or explain yourself. Let me stop you right there. You don't need to do any of that. There is a force bigger than you working in your favor.
Come here, baby.
It's
Let me
moving
talk to you
behind
for
the
a
scenes,
second.
quiet, steady, relentless. It's called protection.
Baby, if you
It's
ever
called
leave me, you know
alignment.
I got
It's what happens when the universe chooses someone to carry a burden, a light, a purpose that can't be touched by the chaos around them. You were never
Come on,
alone,
baby.
even when it felt like you were. You were never unprotected, even when the world told you otherwise. That's why the people who tried to break you are breaking themselves. The universe has made it clear. You are off limits. You're wrapped in a shield they can't penetrate.
Touch not my
And when they
anointed.
try, the shield doesn't just block, it fights back. You might be asking yourself, if the universe is protecting me, why do I still feel pain? Why am I still battling doubt? Why does loneliness creep in like a shadow? These are good questions, questions every chosen one faces. Here's the
I
truth.
said I wasn't gonna be on here long.
Protection doesn't mean the absence of struggle. Being chosen doesn't mean your path is easy. It means the fight is bigger than just you. It means the pain you feel is part of a larger battle. A battle that the universe is already winning, even if you can't see all the pieces yet. So don't punish yourself for doubting. Don't let fear whisper lies about your worth or your power. The fact that you question only proves you're human, but it doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, the universe often allows these moments so you can learn, grow, and prepare for the next level of your journey. And while the enemy is busy turning on each other, their energy is draining. Their attacks are losing strength. Their stories are losing credibility.
Fritos.
They're losing
honey
because they
barbecue or whatever.
underestimated the power that chose you. They're losing because they played with a system far bigger than their selfish ambitions. You don't need to retaliate. You don't need to shout louder or prove yourself harder. You just need to stay aligned, stay steady, stay true. The universe is writing your story, and right now, it's rewriting
I hope
theirs.
y'all enjoyed John Baby.
Remember this. When you
I
feel
was
like
actually
you're standing
relaxing
alone
today.
in the dark, that's the moment the universe is preparing you for your brightest light. They're breaking apart because they can't break you. They're fighting among themselves because
You
they
ever go
can't
to
fight
like
the
a
force
hotel on
that shields
vacation
you.
with you? I
So
feel like
hold
that
your
today.
ground.
It usually
Trust
means
the
good thing,
timing.
good sign of
Keep
like
walking your path without fear
something
or
new.
hesitation.
And
Your
I'm in that
protection
energy. I
isn't
claim it because I'm
silent.
ready to move.
It's a storm in motion, and it's closing
I
in.
want more than just
Let
moving
them
though,
fight
like
their
just move
battles.
everything.
Let them
Get to
unravel
that
in their
point
chaos.
when you see a
You're
lot of things taken from you.
untouchable. You're
It makes you feel like
unbreakable.
that.
And the universe has
It makes
made
you
it
go
clear.
hard too,
No one can come near you.
no matter how the situation is.
Number 3.
Whether it's
The
at school,
puppet
wherever.
master is drowning because even his puppets want out. When hate is the only thing holding people together, don't be surprised when they tear each other apart the
These are
second
pretty
it
good.
stops being convenient. Let me tell you what's really happening. There was once a group aligned not by purpose, not by truth, not by any solid bond, but by their shared hatred of you. That was their glue. That was their mission. That was their one common thread. And now that thread is snapping. The alliance has cracked. The unity is crumbling. And at the center of the chaos, the ringleader, the loudest one. The one who lit the match and passed it around. The one who pushed everyone else into the mess, stirred the pot, kept the drama alive, and fed off the fallout. But now, even their own people are turning on them. They're fighting behind the scenes, shouting, accusing, backtracking. Some of them want out, desperately. They're starting to feel the heat. And no, it's not guilt, it's fear. Because something in them knows they crossed a line they weren't built to handle. Something in them is whispering, back away. You messed with something protected. And they did. See, the ringleader was never brave. They were just prideful. They weren't powerful. They were just loud. They carried the energy of Pharaoh, arrogant, controlling, and blind to warnings. Even when the signs showed up, even when the people around them said, this doesn't feel right anymore. Even when their own camp started to fall apart, they doubled down. Because some people aren't leading because they're strong. They're leading because they're scared of losing control. And here's where it all gets exposed. The spiritualist, the gossip, the quiet one who just followed along. They're not aligned anymore. They're backing away, whispering, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to touch this energy. I want out. That alone is your confirmation. They've seen what's coming. They've felt the shift. They've realized that you aren't just off limits. You're protected by something bigger than them all. But the ringleader, they can't let go. They're too deep in the lie, too committed to the destruction, too convinced that they can't fall, even as everything around them crumbles. And here's the brutal truth. They never had power over you. They only ever had control over perception. They rallied others by twisting your image. They weaponized your silence. They made sure you looked like the problem, because that made them feel powerful. But now, the ones who stood beside them are seeing the truth, and they don't want the backlash on their heads anymore. And you, chosen one, you doubted all this, didn't you? You thought, maybe it's me. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe they're really united against me because I deserve it. Let me stop you right here. You weren't the problem. You were the mirror. You reflected what they didn't want to see in themselves. You brought truth into a space built on lies. And when people don't want to face their own shadows, they try to silence the one carrying the light. But now, the universe universe is scattering the camp.
These are really freaking
It's
good.
not just a fallout. It's a fracture in the machine that once
Ooh,
moved
I can
against
make
you.
some chili cheese
Arguments,
with like turkey meat
division,
and
paranoia. Everyone
make it like a
pointing
chili.
fingers because someone has to take the fall. And
That's
they
gonna do
all
tomorrow.
know one thing deep down. They moved against someone
That's
they
gonna be
weren't
fun.
meant to touch. Because here's what they missed. You
I done
weren't
tell Sky about that.
unprotected.
Use these
You
for
weren't
chili.
vulnerable. You were chosen. And when the universe chooses someone,
You
it
don't need that
doesn't
many
play
chips
fair.
for it.
It moves pieces behind the scenes. It creates confusion in enemy camps. It collapses every alliance built on hate. Because hate never holds. Not for long. Not when the mission has no soul behind it. They weren't bonded by loyalty. They were bonded by resentment. They didn't come together for truth. They came together because it was easier to tear you down than face their own emptiness. And now they're paying for it. Not because you fought back, not because you got revenge, but because universal law doesn't play
I like these
favorites.
because it's
It
corn
plays
and
fair.
tortillas
They
versus
sowed destruction, and now they're choking on
junk
their
food.
own harvest. You don't need to fix it. You don't need to explain. You don't need to clear your name. All you need to do is keep walking. Because while they're turning on each other, the universe is lifting you up in silence. And they're learning the hard way. You were never the enemy. You were the test. And they failed. Number 4. It wasn't friendship. It was just a shared hunger to watch you fall. Rotten alliances don't break. They infect themselves until nothing is left standing. Let's make this plain. What they had wasn't friendship. It wasn't loyalty. It wasn't real. It was mutual malice. 2 or more people who didn't even like each other that much, but bonded over their shared desire to see you down. That's it. That was the glue. And now that glue is cracking. Because hate is only strong until it no longer feels convenient. They were never aligned in heart, only in intention. And their only real intention was you, silencing you, mocking you, stopping your rise before it could start. That's what brought them together. That's what kept their friendship alive. But the moment the plan started falling apart, the masks slipped, the claws came out, the knives turned
Okay, I have to
inward,
wash my hands.
and now the universe is pulling the thread. You're not just witnessing drama, you're witnessing exposure. The fake bonds are snapping, the false connections are rotting. The ones who once stood shoulder to shoulder are now watching their alliances collapse from the inside. Because this was never stable. This was never built on love. It was built on spite. And when the only reason people come together is to harm someone else, they eventually start harming each other. Why? Because that kind of energy has no foundation. It's not built to last. It's built to burn. This is what you're seeing now. The unraveling of a plan that never had real loyalty behind it. Only shared shadows, only envy, only ego, and the one thing the universe never lets slide. Attacks against what's been chosen. Some of them are realizing it now. You can feel it. They're pulling away. They're hesitant. The messages stopped. The gossip slowed. Their energy shifted. Not because they're healing, but because they're afraid. Because whether they call it karma, consequence, or cosmic law, they know something's catching up to them. And at the root of it all, pride. The same pride that made them think they could twist your name and still walk away clean. The same pride that made them believe the universe wasn't watching. The same pride that told them, this will never catch up to you. Now it
I gotta
is.
get me a water.
It's showing up as as tension, as anxiety,
Oh,
as
and some
betrayal,
sunflower seeds.
as cold silence in group chats that once lit up with your name. The collapse has already started, and it's personal. The universe isn't just ending their plan, it's scattering the very people they relied on to carry it out. Why? Because the universe defends what it chooses, and chosen
Y'all,
one.
what y'all eat
Here's
today?
where I
Did
turn
y'all
the
cook?
fire back on you for a second,
I didn't.
because I know you doubted.
Well, my daughter's
You looked at how tight they
so
seemed,
it's
how bold
such a
they
blessing.
moved, how confidently they played with your name, and you thought, maybe they're right. Maybe I
They cooked
deserve
today
this.
and yesterday, so
Maybe
it was
I
a blessing.
really am the problem. No, you weren't the problem. You were the reason they formed that bond in the first place. You were the threat, even before you knew it. They weren't drawn together because you were weak. They came together because even in your confusion, your silence, your pain, your presence made them feel small. And that's what they couldn't handle. You reflected
I forgot
something
my
in them
pencils.
they didn't want to face. And so they pointed fingers at you. But now, when those same fingers start turning on each other, what's left? Nothing. Just broken trust, fake apologies, and the weight of guilt they never thought they'd carry. So let the collapse continue.
Wow, y'all, I
Let
love
it fall.
plantain chips.
Let the ones who once shouted your name in mockery now whisper about each other in fear. They called it friendship, but the universe just called it what it was. Temporary hate dressed up in loyalty. And the price
But
for
these right
touching
here is
what's
soft.
protected, it's always
Like,
internal
they was
collapse. Number 5, the
I don't know how to
universe
explain
isn't playing games about you, and now they're paying the price. When you're chosen, even the traps they set
These
for
like
you
more
start
banana
to close around their
soft
own ankles.
milk.
Let's make one thing crystal clear. The universe isn't playing when it comes to you. Every single person who moved against you with confidence, pride, and full chest, thinking they were untouchable, is now scrambling to dodge the consequences. The same people who thought they could plot in secret, speak your name with dirt in their mouths, and walk away clean. They're choking now on their own arrogance, because the universe is flipping the table. You didn't have to lift a finger. You didn't have to clap back. You didn't have to gather proof or go public. Because the force that protects you, it already had your back. Quietly, powerfully, consistently, you're watching the unraveling in real time now. The ones who laughed when you cried, who acted bold when you were vulnerable, who built group chats just to mock you, now they're the ones looking over their shoulders. The same trap they set for you, it's turning inward. The same smear campaigns they launched, they're now explaining themselves in rooms they used to control. The tables haven't just turned, they've flipped violently. Why? Because they underestimated what it means to be chosen. They thought chosen meant you got lucky. They didn't realize chosen meant the universe reroutes storms to shield your path and exposes liars without you having to say a word.
Wow.
They thought you were easy prey. But what they didn't know was that your silence wasn't weakness. It was alignment.
Yeah,
The
baby, I just
universe
said
told
that.
you to stand still, to hold, to let it work. And now, look. They're not bold anymore. They're not laughing anymore. They're not united anymore.
Y'all have
They're
one
turning on each other, fighting to escape a fire they started, trying to distance themselves from the very lies they helped build, watching their own words boomerang back at them. And you doubted, didn't you? You sat in silence and pain thinking, why isn't this being stopped? Why do they get to be so loud while I have to be quiet? Why does it feel like I'm losing when I'm the one who stayed true? Here's why. Because the universe moves with precision, not noise. It allows their confidence to grow until it blinds them. It gives them space to trap themselves. And right when they think they've won, everything turns. That's what's happening now. This wasn't about you fighting. This wasn't about revenge. This was about timing. And the timing has arrived. The alliance they built, cracked. The image they crafted, shattered. The false power they carried, gone. Because here's the truth. When you're truly chosen, you are off limits. Energetically, spiritually, cosmically.
Strengthen your hair and protect from heat damage with Cream of Nature leave-in conditioner.
They were warned. They felt it. Some ignored it. Some laughed at it. Now they're learning that protection isn't a theory. It's real. And you were surrounded the whole time. So let this be your wake-up call. Chosen one. Stop doubting the silence. Stop fearing the waiting. Stop thinking that justice has to be loud to be real. Because what you're watching now, this is justice. Slow, surgical, satisfying. They had their moment of pride. Now they're in the collapse. And the universe, it's not playing about you. Number 6. Thinking about it was one thing, but acting on it signed their judgment. A thought can float. An action leaves a footprint, and the universe always knows who stepped first. Here's the line they didn't think was real. The one between intention and action. A lot of people think they're safe because they didn't throw the first punch.
I always say that.
They just thought
Intention, then action makes a whole
about it,
being
plotted, imagined
thought about
your
it, then you did it.
downfall, talked about you in hushed circles. That's still wrong. But here's the truth. The moment they moved, the moment they took what was once private and turned it into real-world
It's like
action,
kinetic energy.
everything shifted. They crossed a line the universe doesn't play with. Plotting? That's dangerous. But executing that plot? That's when protection steps in. That's when the unseen forces surrounding you snap into motion. Not with noise, but with consequences. See, a lot of them thought they could get away with it because they weren't loud. They weren't public. They were calculated, quiet, strategic. They wanted to destroy you, but with finesse, without fingerprints, without looking guilty. But the universe doesn't need proof. It doesn't need screenshots. It knows when someone's energy turns from thought into movement. And once it does, it marks it. It responds. They didn't just think it, they acted on it. They moved against you. They built traps. They took steps with full awareness. And now the very traps they set are turning into graves they can't climb out of. That's why the judgment is hitting like this. That's why it's public, messy, irreversible. Because you were never theirs to target. You were chosen, and they knew it. But they moved anyway. There's a law built into the universe. It's not based on religion. It's based on alignment. When someone is chosen, their energy becomes protected, shielded, watched. The closer someone moves with harm in their heart, the quicker their actions get flipped against them. You didn't fight. You didn't have to. Because when someone crosses that energetic boundary with real action, when they go from daydreaming your fall to actually trying to cause it, they put themselves in direct opposition to the very force that was protecting you. And the universe doesn't forgive that lightly. Here's where I call you out, chosen one. You still keep wondering, why did they go so far? You ask yourself, was it really that deep? Did I miss a warning sign? Should I have done more? No, you didn't do anything wrong. didn't miss anything. They crossed the line, not with thoughts, with decisions. They were told to leave you alone. They felt the pause, the resistance, the universal warning
That is
signs.
so greedy.
And
y'all.
they still kept pushing. They still built the gallows. They still moved the paperwork. They still twisted the story. And now they're facing the judgment attached to that move. They weren't punished for thinking about harming you. They're falling apart because they tried. And the universe remembers who acted first. So let them fall. Let them drown in the chaos they made. Because what you're witnessing isn't revenge, it's balance. Number 7. They tried to touch you, but the universe stepped in first. The reason nothing hit you,
That is
it's
so
because
irritating.
what they sent bounced off forces they'll never understand.
What's that?
If you've been feeling like something was off lately, like you were under fire but never got burned, you're not imagining it. If you sensed the plotting, if your spirit felt the tension, if your instincts went sharp for no clear reason, that was real. But here's why nothing landed. Because the universe stepped in. Before they could reach you, before their trap could spring, before their words could take root, you were already covered.
My
Your
nerves
energy
is
was
bad,
shielded.
y'all.
Your steps were redirected. Your name was already protected in rooms they never thought you'd walk into.
I wish I could set it
This
up in the
is what
house, but
happens when you're chosen.
yeah, when my grandbaby was born, she took over my room in the living room. So it's like a nursery / chill area for the baby. It's like literally a big playpen. So I gotta get a bigger place. I have to get a bigger place. I got sunflower seed. Oh, baby.
They thought silence meant you were unguarded. They thought the absence of drama meant they
Come
had
here,
a clear
baby.
shot. But what they
Just
didn't
let me
know
talk to you
is
for a
that when
second.
you're aligned with the truth, the universe fights battles you don't even see. Let me be clear, some of them tried it. They lit the match. They made the phone call. They sent the message. They moved against you in ways that felt
What
subtle
time
to
did she
them,
get this time?
but loud in the energy. But here's the part that
Oh,
terrifies
she
them
might
now.
have lost.
None of it worked. Not the manipulation, not the gossip, not the carefully crafted trap. Because protection isn't passive.
My
It's
girls had to go
preemptive.
grocery shopping
It
today too,
moves
so
before the damage arrives. The people
it
who
feel good to
dared
be
to
able to
step
send them
across
to the
that
store. So.
energetic line, knowing who you were, knowing
But I
what
had
you
ordered
carry,
some of the stuff
are
on
learning the
Walmart.
hard way that nothing sent toward the chosen
This lady done
comes
stopped the
back
food stamps again.
untouched. And
I'm so
yes,
happy I had
some
some
of
left
them are
over.
still trying. But here's the brutal truth.
But I was
The
depending on
outcome
that.
is already written. The trap they're setting, already
Funny.
useless. The sabotage they're hoping for, already
But I'm happy I
rerouted.
saved some.
The outcome, already
For a
locked
rainy
in.
day.
And it's not going their way. The universe doesn't just defend, it multiplies
budgeting.
justice. What they send out in secret returns in the open. What they hoped would destroy you becomes the very thing that exposes them. That's the cost of trying to reach someone they were warned to leave alone. And chosen one, let's talk about you. Because somewhere in all this protection, you still doubted, didn't you? You asked yourself, if I'm really chosen, why do I feel this pressure? Why can I still feel the attack, even if it doesn't hit? Why do I still feel the weight of something I didn't ask for? Because protection doesn't mean numbness. It means survival. It means everything they tried didn't land, but you still sensed it was coming. You're not paranoid. You're not imagining it. You're just tuned in. And what you're feeling is the universe taking over on your behalf. So stand still. Don't respond. Don't stoop. Don't even explain. Because while they're trying to throw stones, the ground beneath their feet is already shifting. And
Yeah, I'm eating
walking
sunflower seeds.
forward, untouched. They don't understand how you're still
I
standing.
just grabbed any ones. I
How
think
you're
they got
still
different
glowing.
kinds, but
How
this
you
one I
didn't
picked up was
respond,
chocolate.
didn't break, didn't fold. But now,
I be liking
they're
the regular
learning.
ones,
You were never
so I'm
alone.
probably not gonna
You
eat
were just guarded by
a lot of
something
these
they
at one time.
can't fight. Let them keep reaching. Let them keep trying. Because every action taken against
I
you
like
is
ranch
now
on it.
being returned, multiplied. Not because you
Oh,
demanded
these
it,
is good.
but because the universe
Too much
handles what
seasoning.
it chooses to protect. Number 8. The collapse has started, and they're
These are too
running
much
from what
seasoning
they
on it.
helped build. When the energy turns, the fake alliances scatter first, because fear always breaks faster than loyalty ever bonded them. Let's not pretend this is some random falling out. What you're witnessing now, the silence, the ghosting, the sudden arguments, the split in their fake unity, it's not just drama. It's the collapse. It's the consequence. It's the scatter. The very group that once circled around your name like vultures, plotting, whispering, laughing, is now falling apart at the seams. Because what started as subtle attacks, energy games, emotional manipulation, passive aggression,
I'm
groupthink,
looking at
it has now turned into
listening to it say
exposure,
chosen
and they're
ones.
scrambling to run from it. You want to
It's
know why?
37, I'm getting
Because the
37
universe warned them.
likes.
Every single one of them felt the pause. Some got the dreams. Some felt sick around your name. Some hesitated but ignored it. And others, they're trying to escape now. Trying to wash their hands clean before the damage lands fully. Not all of them were completely cold. Some of them saw what was coming and said, I don't want to be part of this anymore. They felt the energy shift. They felt the fear creeping in. And most of all, they felt the weight of what they did. Because touching someone chosen, that doesn't just have consequences for the moment. It has consequences for legacy. This isn't just they're getting what they deserve. This is energy correcting itself through force.
Alignment.
And when the energy moves to protect the chosen, those who once stood together to attack will be forced to turn on each other just to survive. And some are realizing this way too late. They thought they were strong together because they had a common enemy, you. But they were never strong. They were just united in insecurity, in bitterness, in fear of what your presence revealed in them. And now that presence is doing what it was always meant to do, destroy every false thing that tried to stand against it. Let me talk to you directly, chosen one, because I know how this made you feel. You saw them walking in agreement and thought, maybe they're right about me. You saw how organized the attack looked and thought, maybe I'm the problem. You sat in your silence and assumed that their unity must mean you were in the wrong. Wrong. That wasn't strength. That was shared fear pretending to be friendship. And now they can't hold it together anymore. Because when truth enters the room, lies scatter. When protection activates, manipulation crumbles.
Right.
Some of them are trying to disappear
My
quietly.
body's like an old
Some
lady
are
body though,
pretending they
y'all.
were never involved. Some
My lady
are
don't
even
walk today
turning
though.
on the ringleader, blaming them for the fallout. But
He
they
walk
all
long enough.
played their part. Even the quiet ones. Even the ones who just watched. Silence is complicity. And now silence won't save them. Because the scatter isn't a glitch in the plan. It is the plan. The universe wants them divided. It needs meets them broken apart.
Oh wow, today is my
Because
daddy's
no
birthday.
lie can stand too long when the person they targeted is still standing, still protected, still unshaken. And you didn't have to lift a finger. Your job was to survive, to align, to trust the protection you couldn't always see, but always had. Now you're seeing it play out. Don't go back. Don't feel sorry. Don't try to explain the storm they called down on themselves. Just understand this. The scatter has begun. And it's not stopping until every fake alliance, every dishonest word, every energetic hit sent toward you is dismantled. Publicly, personally, permanently. This is what happens when people move against what the universe set apart. The story doesn't end with their attack. It ends with their unraveling. Number 9. The ringleader will be left to rot in their own shadow. Every army falls when the general's mouth writes checks the universe never agreed to cash. Let's call it what it is. The ringleader isn't strong. They're just loud. And now they're loud and alone. You know the one I'm talking about. The one who stirred the pot. The one who created the group chats. The one who kept your name in their mouth like it gave them power. The one who whispered lies in other people's ears just to keep the fire going, because their pride couldn't handle your peace. Even now, as everything collapses, they still won't stop. Still reaching out, still recruiting, still throwing bait into every circle they can reach, hoping someone, anyone, will pick up the torch again. But it's over, because the universe isn't allowing it. Everyone they touch now gets warned, not with words, but with energy. They feel it, a weight, a resistance, a sick twist in the gut that tells them, this isn't just gossip, this isn't just drama, this is dangerous. People may not understand energy, but they understand fear. And the fear attached to that ringleader now, it's contagious. No one wants to stand too close anymore, because the ones who were once loyal are watching what's happening. They're seeing the friendships fall apart, the secrets leak, the opportunities dry up. They're watching doors slam shut, doors that used to open without knocking. And whether they admit it or not, they know exactly why it's happening. Because they touched something they were warned to leave alone. Now the same people who once lined up to listen to the ringleader, they're walking away, slowly, quietly, unfriending, unfollowing, backing up without explanation, because they don't want that energy on them. And the ringleader, they're unraveling, not because they lost the fight, because they never had a fight. They only had an audience. And the moment that audience vanished, so did their power. You want to know who's actually strong? You. The one they tried to break. The one who didn't respond. The one who stayed silent while they screamed. The one who watched your name get dragged through the mud, but never bowed to beg for your reputation back. They were scared of that. They're still scared of that. Because here's what they're finally starting to realize. You didn't lose your power when they lied. You became untouchable when you didn't flinch. Now look at them. Alone. Angry. Trying to reassemble a broken army with hands shaking from guilt and ego. They don't want justice. They want backup. But the universe won't allow it. Every attempt to rally new people ends in rejection. Every innocent conversation
I ain't gonna be on
becomes a
here too
red
long.
flag for whoever they target next. Every new recruit they try to manipulate starts backing up before the damage sticks. Because the energy is different now.
I'm reviewing
The force that surrounds you, It's loud, even in silence.
God's
It's
chosen
heavy,
ones on
even
YouTube
from a
from my
distance.
notification.
It's real,
Probably do one more
and they
video.
know
I don't
it.
know,
And let's talk about you, chosen
but I
one.
wasn't planning on staying
Let's
on
be
long.
honest for a second. You used to be afraid of this person. You thought they had power. You thought they had influence. You gave weight to their name like it could actually reach you. Why? Because they were loud. Because they had people. Because they had fake confidence and big energy when they mocked you. But you forgot something. Loud isn't strong. Volume doesn't equal value. They were always small, always bitter, always building armies because they could never stand alone. And now, that's exactly what's happening. They're being stripped, left in
When
the
I go in the
ruins
house,
of their
that's all
own
I'm gonna do.
making, surrounded
Put
by
on some
nothing but
headphones
the
and
echoes of a voice
read for
that
it.
used to sound powerful, but now
I'll be
just
in there falling
sounds
asleep.
pitiful. This isn't your revenge. This is your reveal. Because the truth is, they never had the strength to face you directly. They moved in groups. They attacked in whispers. They fed off attention. And now, there's no one left to feed on. The universe isn't just protecting you. It's exposing them. And there's nowhere left to run. So no, you don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to fight. You don't even need to respond when people say they're still talking about you. Because at this point, they're just talking to themselves. Let them. Let them rant into the silence. Let them choke on the echo of their own performance. Because the ringleader will be left alone. Not because you did anything, but because the universe did everything. You were never the one under fire. You were the one behind the shield. Now, you're rising. They're rotting, and no one's coming to save them. So now you've seen it for what it truly is. The collapse wasn't random. It was alignment. The chaos wasn't an attack on you. It was protection working in silence. They turned on each other because the universe made it impossible to keep coming for you. Let this be your reminder. You were never outnumbered. You were set apart. If this message hit home, like the video, subscribe for more truth they can't silence, and drop the number 77 in the comments.
The first video.
They called you
Most
too
relevant.
much because your silence was louder than their lies. My
Now
dear
that
chosen
truth is
ones,
down, they're
welcome
down now.
back.
Cool.
Let's
All right, let me.
not waste time
I
today
feel
with
like.
softness.
Yeah, I need to say that. Now these nacho ones is kind of good. Okay, this is the first one. Oh,
In an astonishing display of impact, a complete stranger has permanently marked their body with your initials. This individual, someone who had never met you before, was so profoundly moved after hearing your personal story that they immediately committed to carrying your symbol on their skin for life. Your words didn't just resonate, they fundamentally altered someone's physical being. What you shared was so transformative that it warranted permanent commemoration on another person's body. This is the undeniable proof of your influence. Your story carries such raw authenticity and power that it drives strangers to extreme demonstrations of devotion. The universe continues to reflect back the extraordinary impact of your existence, this time through the permanent ink marking a follower who recognized your significance after just one encounter. The universe just sent you an unmistakable message wrapped in human flesh. Yesterday meant nothing. Today, everything changed. That stranger who approached you after hearing your story wasn't random.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Pibs Got the Tea. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, or hit that follow button, whichever one applies to you. to you.
Oh, you being too motherfucking deep, girl.
Collectively to people that you have either fallen out with or that they know you do not fuck with. Okay? I don't know if they trying to start like a little team or it's like they're trying to
put this in my
gather stories of people that you fell out with. It's like they're trying to run a smear campaign.
That is crazy. How could you say
they
that,
put a lot
girl?
of energy into this shit too. Alright, whoever it is, like, ain't shit to find out, ain't shit to dig up on you because you live in your truth.
Did you marry me, girl?
They going around trying to gather evidence or collect stories or information on you.
Wow.
You sitting up there learning more about yourself. Okay? So it's crazy because this is the shit that they doing. Trying to find out more shit about you. The more this person does this, they lose touch with themselves. So this is somebody that doesn't even know them goddamn selves. And meanwhile, you over here learning more about who you truly are as you're already living in your fucking truth. All right? Some of you guys are in the formative stage of creating something. Y'all about to take off with something.
Come on, girl.
Okay? And it's crazy as hell because I feel like a lot of you guys are getting better, okay? Getting healthier.
Come on.
Making changes, making plans, okay? Yeah, some of you guys could be changing your diet. You're getting healthier the whole fucking nine. Some of you guys could also be celibate, okay? Or if y'all not celibate, y'all, what's that Cardi B song? Chill with the beef and get some chicken instead. Chickens is what? It equates to money. But y'all focus on y'all motherfucking money. Y'all ain't got time for this motherfucker. So they give me vibes too. This motherfucker trying to gather evidence about you. That means they're distracted from what the fuck they should be doing. They're distracted from getting some motherfucking money. All right. Now, some of you guys, this could be related
I've been
to family.
saying that.
This person could also be trying to link up with family members that you don't fuck with, trying to get any type of information. All right. There's something going on with some of y'all family, and y'all know it. Y'all can feel it in y'all fucking gut. Okay, but I feel like y'all still paying attention to what the fuck y'all got going on, budgeting, all right, figuring out things in terms of your career and what you want to do next, all right. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I see that y'all not letting excuses win. Y'all celebrating y'all sales. Y'all focus on y'all sales. Y'all locked in with you. Okay, me versus me, money bag, yo, money again. Y'all so focused on y'all paper. And whatever the fuck motherfuckers are sitting up here feeding energy to, that's what's about to blow up. All right, so for some of you guys, y'all have a money opportunity, some type of career opportunity that's about to blow the fuck up for y'all. Meanwhile, whatever drama this person is feeding is gonna blow up in their motherfucking face. All right. Yes, again, I got my mind on my money. Y'all not worried about this motherfucker. Y'all writing down y'all goals and dreams. Y'all about to take off with some shit. Y'all about to take the fuck off with some shit. Yes. Whoever the fuck this person is too, while they so fucking focused on you, it's like this person created some type of issue or drama for you, G. Whatever the fuck they did, like, it caused some type of decline for y'all financially. All right, somebody was trying to, whatever the fuck y'all been working on, somebody was hoping to fuck something up for y'all so bad that y'all walk away from it. Okay, 333, but it's protected. Whatever the fuck it is. And it's crazy too, because I feel like instead of walking away from what y'all were doing, I feel like y'all walk the fuck away from this motherfucking person.
Get the fuck out.
Okay, crazy. For some of you guys, it could be a business idea that y'all been working on. All right. Now, for some of you guys too, this person did some type of shit. They were being calculated, being sneaky, throwing rocks and hiding their hands, and they did something to cause some type of decline for you financially. They wanted you to be stressed the fuck out. All right. So the fact that y'all cut off access to yourselves from this motherfucking person, that's how this person trying to go around the people that you don't talk to no more. Because they know the people that you want in cahoots with and the people that you want in alliance with, they would never. Okay, so this person is trying to gather information on what you're doing, what you're working on, what you was even talking about, or what ideas were they planning on doing when you was around them and shit. You feel me? Because they're trying to find out ways to attack you. They're attacking you financially. All right? Crazy as hell. This person's going to end up fucking themselves up. I feel like this person is getting some type of support.
Give it to me,
They could even be getting some type of support from the people that they have came to cahoots with behind your motherfucking back. And that shit about to come to a fucking end.
Get the sons of bitches.
Crazy as hell too. This person could have tried to cut off your source of support. All right, and all this shit gonna lead to y'all about to walk into an Ace of Pentacles. This is like a financial upgrade. Okay, and I'm here because you did not give the fuck up. All right, this person, you could have had some type of run-in with this person, some type of disagreement, argument, the whole nine. But mentally, y'all walked away from it. So y'all said what y'all had to say, and y'all have moved on with y'all life. All right, and it's crazy because you did so. I feel like y'all could have been feeling a type of way for a little minute, but it helped you change something within yourself. Okay, I feel like it could have affected your emotions, whatever conflict this person caused. It affected your emotions, but it helped you create a much needed change change.
That's
And that's why
powerful,
y'all
bro.
got a 10 of cups coming in. Y'all have true fulfillment coming the fuck in. And like I said, while y'all focus on you, this motherfucker focus on you too. That means somebody focus on wrong shit.
Right.
Okay? Devil with the 6 wands. Since you walk the fuck away from this motherfucker, you've been on this person's mind. Okay? Whatever happened, it helped you create some type of change. 5 of Cups, 9 of Swords, and 10 of Cups. It helped you create some type of change to be able to get what the fuck it is that you want. Meanwhile, this person is sitting up here obsessed with your success. Okay? And this shit gonna lead this person to a broken motherfucking heart moving forward.
A lot of people.
I see y'all standing on business. Okay, y'all about y'all motherfucking action. Y'all doing what needs to be done. Even if things look uncertain. Like I told y'all before, y'all being encouraged to follow your heart. Okay, I start hearing that song. Use your heart, not your mind. Okay? Okay, y'all taking it easy. All right? And whatever you investing in, it's going to successfully take the fuck off. Full card of the 6 of Swords, it's going to take the fuck off. You might not see it right now, but it is. Yeah, this gives me vibes. This is a motherfucker that, I don't know, I'm hearing somebody say, well, I tried to help them, but they didn't want to take my advice. Meanwhile, this person that purposely did some shit to fuck with your money. This person was purposely trying to put you in a space of struggling or some shit. And got the audacity of going around trying to make it seem like they were trying to help you. Like I said, fairy tale on my way. This person's selfish as hell. Okay, selfish as hell, egotistical as hell. They going around spinning illusions. Okay, whoever the fuck this is too, they going around lying about why the fuck y'all fell out. They going around lying about why the fuck y'all fell the fuck out. But some of y'all, I'm hearing, some of y'all could have realized that since you fell out with this person, y'all money has been fucked up. And this motherfucker trying to make it seem like, well, when I was in their life, money was good for them. That's because they didn't want to do shit. I was encouraging them to spend the whole night. No, the whole time they did some manipulative shit to fuck with your money. Okay? I can't make this up. They done backstabbed you some type of motherfucking way. This is somebody that did some shit. They mad because you don't fuck with them. And they did some shit trying to put you in a compromising situation. Because they want you to hit their ass up. You ghosted this motherfucker. They want you to hit them up. They want you to reconcile with them. Okay, yeah, goodbye. You cut that ass off. I can't make this up.
Wow.
Some of y'all, this motherfucker, soon as you
couldn't have.
Y'all money started getting funny as hell. Some of y'all credit scores could have dropped. Some of y'all could have lost some jobs. Some of y'all bills could have started piling the fuck up. But what this motherfucker don't realize, the same thing that they did to try to put you on the bind is gonna lead you to y'all blessing. Didn't I tell you that this motherfucker gonna end up losing a source of support? And for some of y'all will have a partner coming in that's about to pick y'all ass the fuck up. That's about to motherfucking see your efforts, see your motherfucking determination. They about to boss you the fuck up. Boss you the fuck up. Why just give me vibes? You about to get something that this person motherfucker wanted all their fucking life. Alright? I feel like I'm talking to some hustlers. Y'all don't type of motherfuckers, y'all don't look to other people for help and support. I feel like this person do. Y'all the type of motherfuckers to get it out the mud. This person is not. Alright? And it's crazy because this motherfucker sitting up here fucking with your money and the very thing that they wanted, they're gonna lead you right to it. So this giving me vibes too. Somebody watching some of y'all. Somebody watching some of y'all that want to invest in y'all. They see how hard y'all be going, okay? They see your determination. They see your work ethic, and they want to come in and help you. Okay? They want to come in and help you.
Let me talk to you for a second.
Whoever the fuck this person is, this motherfucker thought that they was going to break you through whatever the fuck they was doing. They so fucking mad at how strong you are. They mad as fuck. For some of y'all, this person was hacking into something of yours. Could have been hacking your accounts, hacking your phone. They could even been hacking your motherfucking energy and doing shit. Okay? But that shit about to come to an end too. Okay? That shit about to come to an end too. This person was trying to cover up the fact that they were hurt or sad that you don't fuck with them no more. But they going around talking about you, inquiring about you like a motherfucker. This person's gonna end up getting exposed too. The truth and traitor, okay? This person's gonna end up getting exposed. And it's giving vibes like this motherfucker know that they hexing you and they doing something manipulative and going around trying to make it seem like you a bum, you this, you that, and the third, trying to link up with your fucking ops and shit. But it's gonna hit the light once success hit for your ass, okay?
Damn, baby. Kinda. That phone don't went on. Yeah, but
Constant reminders of your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis can make it hard to be there when it matters most. If your symptoms aren't under control, it may be time to talk to your doctor about #1 prescribed.
So let me do my last video. So I'm gonna take me a nice Epsom salt bath. Here we go. First one.
They didn't bury you. They planted you, hoping no one would notice if you bloomed in silence. My dear chosen ones, this isn't just survival we're talking about. This is your revenge season. And no, not the petty kind. The kind where your clarity, your stillness, your evolution hits harder than anything they tried to do to you. Let's call it what it was, a humiliation ritual masked in fake concern and polite betrayal. You weren't just dragged, you were offered, labeled, mocked, undermined. All of it done carefully, intentionally, and publicly, because they didn't just want to hurt you, they wanted to erase you while applauding their own performance.
Damn.
They smiled while setting fire to your name, and they clapped while hoping to watch you burn in confusion.
Damn.
But here's what they didn't calculate. A chosen one doesn't burn. They illuminate. They thought you'd fold, that you'd self-destruct in the silence, that you'd over-explain, over-apologize, and shrink until you disappeared entirely. But you didn't. You did the most dangerous thing a real one can do. You watched. You learned. You remembered. You let them think they won, while your discernment was quietly building you into something they can't touch anymore. Understand this. You weren't broken. You were being decoded. And once you saw the system for what it was, it lost its grip on you. You stopped chasing clarity in their chaos and found your power in stillness. That's what makes you lethal now. Not loudness, but lucidity. And if you're still wondering, why me? Let me answer that right now. Because your presence reveals what they try to hide. Because your spirit can't be sold. Your truth can't be edited. And your silence. It speaks louder than their entire performance. So no, this wasn't just a bad chapter. This was a ritual dressed in routine. And you were supposed to drown in it. But instead, you became the wave. You didn't survive by accident. You survived because your discernment moved before your enemies could. You outthought, outlasted, and outgrew the entire show. And now, you're the ending they never saw coming. And if you're still here, chosen one, that already says everything. You felt this deep. Because this isn't just content, it's confirmation. Just highly aware in a world built on denial. If you're ready to keep peeling back the layers, owning your power, and turning that humiliation ritual into your rebirth story. Hit that like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to mark the moment you stop shrinking. And if this message is hitting your chest like truth always does, support the movement with a super thanks, because this isn't a trend, it's a shift. Now, let's go even deeper. What comes next will feel eerily familiar, like I've been watching your story unfold from the inside. That's because these aren't random signs. These are markers of the chosen, gifts only those like you ever receive. Let's get into it. Number 1, the shame wasn't random. It was a weaponized ceremony disguised as concern. They couldn't contaminate your character, so they tried to collapse your identity. They couldn't kill your light, so they tried to dim your reflection. My dear chosen ones, they didn't attack what was wrong with you. They attacked what was right. They couldn't play you, so they had to paint you as the villain. Understand this. Your clarity was a threat long before you opened your mouth. You walked in with clean intentions, and that alone disturbed every lie they were hiding under. You didn't just threaten their control, you exposed it, effortlessly, just by existing. They couldn't match your authenticity, so they tried to stain it, slowly, publicly, strategically. When I move, you move. Just like that. When I drama or just how people are. It was a quiet takedown operation dressed in fake concern and soft betrayal. They needed to take your power without ever laying a hand on you. So instead, they came for your image, your reputation, your reflection. Because they knew if they could twist how others saw you, and even more dangerously, how you saw yourself, they could hijack the whole narrative. And maybe you did start doubting. Maybe you questioned your memory, your tone, your gut. That was the point. That's what manipulation does. It doesn't attack you head on. It erodes you from within. And let's be real, it almost worked. That's the painful part, isn't it? You almost started apologizing for breathing too loud. You almost shrank. You almost believed them. But the one thing they didn't expect was the thing they couldn't touch, your discernment. Because discernment isn't noise. It's clarity in chaos. It's that radar that started pinging when the words didn't match the energy, when the compliments had venom, when the smiles came with subtle shade. And while they thought they were putting on a show, you were quietly writing the script they didn't know they were acting in. They were counting on your silence being submission. But really, it was surveillance. You watched the way they twisted loyalty into leverage, how they used love as a leash, how they'd rather stain your image than sit with their own reflection. And while they were throwing dirt, you were watching who picked up a shovel. And chosen one, that's why you're dangerous now, because you saw it all and still didn't let it turn you bitter, because your power doesn't come from proving a point, it comes from knowing who you are, knowing what they are, and knowing that you never needed to play dirty to win. Now you walk different. You don't beg for understanding. You don't chase explanations. Because once you've been the target of a quiet execution, you learn how to live loudly without saying a word. That's the part they never saw coming. You didn't just wake up. You rose, and now you recognize the pattern before the performance even begins. You can spot a staged concern from a mile away. You can feel the difference between a genuine connection and a controlled environment. And the best part, you're no longer afraid to walk away from any room, no matter who's in it, even if it means walking alone. Because once a chosen one stops needing the crowd loses its power. Number 2, they couldn't contaminate your energy, so they tried to corrupt your identity. You thought it was rejection, but it was a surgical scan to expose what couldn't come with you. They didn't walk away because you lacked value. They vanished because your presence demanded honesty, and they weren't built for that kind of exposure. My dear chosen one, let's break the illusion once and for all. What you thought was rejection was never about you being less than. It was a spiritual X-ray, a silent scan, a brutal, brilliant system that stripped away everything that couldn't survive where you're headed next. You weren't cast aside. You were cleared for ascension. It didn't feel like that at the time, did it? The way they ghosted you, the way they flipped overnight, the way your name suddenly sounded like a warning in rooms you used to be celebrated in. It felt cold, personal, like abandonment, like punishment. But it wasn't. That was your life holding up a mirror, not to destroy you, but to show you. Show you what you were surrounded by. Show you what was never aligned in the first place. Show you the true loyalty levels, the fake unity, the masked jealousy. And the only way to make sure you paid attention was to make it loud, messy, unmissable. Because chosen ones don't get polite lessons. We get surgical awakenings. The chaos? That was precision. The isolation? That was the separation protocol. The smear campaigns, the sudden indifference, the weird shift in energy from people you would have protected with your life.
Damn, baby.
That was the filter clearing itself.
Damn, baby.
Violently. They weren't changing. They were revealing. And I know you wanted to believe the best. You kept saying, maybe they're just going through something. You rationalized the betrayal. You excused the shade. You blamed yourself. But chosen ones, we don't get the luxury of illusions. We were built for truth. And that truth had to be dragged into the light. Not for revenge, but for clarity. You weren't being punished. You were being purified. Because the level you're walking into requires nothing fake around you. And what couldn't love you with honesty, what couldn't stand beside you without manipulation, what couldn't cheer for you without secretly competing, it had to go, not later.
Okay, so let me yeah, this finna go there where I got my charger in there. So I guess I think so why not? I don't know what the hell is my goddamn jump box charger. But last time I remember this charger don't charge that phone. Baby, if you could take it back, I don't need it no more. This one's good too. Okay. Alright.
Now, at the ritual of humiliation was simply the scalpel, sharp, inevitable, liberating. You thought you were losing relationships, but you were losing restraints. You thought you were losing opportunities, but really, you were ditching distractions. You gained a kind of clarity people spend their whole lives avoiding. You now know what betrayal looks like with a smile, what manipulation sounds like in a whisper, what disloyalty feels like wrapped in silence. And yes, it came at a cost. Self-respect always does. But you paid it in full, with tears, with silence, with the uncomfortable awareness that you're not who you used to be. Because now you see, you didn't get kicked out, chosen one. You got released. Everything that couldn't match your next level was flushed out, painfully, publicly, and permanently. Because elevation doesn't ask for permission, it makes cuts. Number 3. Your intuition wasn't sensitivity. It was an internal alarm system built for survival. They didn't want you gone. They wanted you ghosted while still breathing. They didn't aim to end you. They aimed to
So cold, they know it's wrong. So I had to click off to see. Oh, okay. I see what's up. Alright, y'all, my phone about to go dead. A lot of people been sending me reaction videos. I just don't know. I want to do that girl book, but her link I can't. I have to write her again and access to another way I can like a PDF way. So that way I download the book and then that'll be fun. Okay. It's a lot of, so I switched up my YouTube channel and get different. Maybe this one Dane Calloway. Okay, the band. They band this. indigenous word from American history. I don't know if I could reshare, but I guess I'll stop. This is from Dane Holloway. This is my other channel now, so I'm getting different messages. Damn, I wish I had my charger charged up already, but it's dead. I just put it on the charger.
This is significant because these terms convey an
But
accentuated
yeah,
message that the government wanted to prevent newer generations of
I was just
Americans
been researching this. This crazy act. That's why I clicked on it.
answers to this question
It looked like he posted it earlier today.
Let's get it.
Okay, let me skip a little bit.
African Indians in 1920 people. While various indigenous
Let me
groups
see.
used
What
this
did I
term,
say?
it was Washington Redskins changed their names and logos recently. Some Americans would
Redskin is a dictionary defined racial slur.
they were not meant to be offensive.
Redskin is a dictionary defined racial slur.
These terms convey an accentuated
Oh yeah, it is a hidden. That's just like Indian givers.
newer generations of
Redskins.
from passing on. I will provide the answers to
Damn.
this question and more in this video.
Redskins. Redskins.
Comes from the Algonquin phrase Oklahoma, which means red people or red-skinned people.
I forget because I didn't want. I don't know if I could react to these.
Was explicitly associated
But just reacting to my feed. See what's in the feed.
Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey,
Damn, I wish my charger was charged up. But I'm gonna definitely go sit in there and listen to this with my headphones. Y'all finish spring cleaning the kitchen and stuff. Cause I got all the canned goods and stuff out. I was in there wiping stuff down and throwing stuff away.
November 16th, 1907. Even up to this time, the term redskin was
I don't wipe it down, so now I gotta put everything back up. Finish putting it up.
America saw the emergence of professional football, which was a combination of rugby and soccer. The sports league was later called the National Football League, or the NFL, in 1919.
My daughter probably put it up though.
American Indians of dark brown complexions played pivotal roles in the success of multiple football teams within the league, like Charles Follis in 1902 with the Shelby Blues.
Wow, that's interesting.
Charles Baker in 1906 with the Akron Indians, and Robert Rudy Marshall.
It's crazy because I've been researching this a lot. My grandma used to talk about it a lot. Yeah, my Facebook shut off. I wish I had the charging.
And he also was the first head coach of American Indian descent in the NFL from 1922 to 1937. I'll get into why here shortly. From 1902 to 1933,
hey y'all, my phone about to power off.
were dominating the NFL.
I'll come back in the morning, y'all, so y'all can see me though.
And so it all came to an immediate halt in 1933.
I'm gonna charge up all my battery packs.
Were banned from playing in the league. On July 5th, 1933, NFL's Boston Braves owner, George Marshall, announced in the Hartford Courant newspaper that his team would now be known as the Boston Redskins.
Wow, I never knew that.
Would tell you that the owner changed the name of the team because the Redskins had an Indian head coach at that time. But the owner corrected them.
Okay, let me read this. It say Boston Braves grid men become Redskins. July 5th, George Marshall, owner of the Boston professional football team, changes its name from Braves to Redskins. So much confusion has been caused by our football team wearing the same name as the Boston National League Baseball Club. He said that a change appeared to be absolutely necessary. The fact that we have in our head enough Lone Star diets and Indian together with several Indian players has not, as may be suspected, inspired me to select the name Redskin. Okay, it was inspired by Indians, he said. By Redskin Indians.
Football team wearing the same name as the National League Baseball Club, that a change appeared to be absolutely necessary. The fact that we have in our head coach Lone Star Dietz, an Indian, together with several Indian players, as may be suspected, inspired me to select That year, he moved the team to Fenway Park. Here's a picture of the Boston Redskins.
Let me see. I gotta turn my brightness up. I be happen to have it down. Oh wow. There was no Indian players.
That was taken in 1934. Look closely at the photo and remember that the owner claimed that he had, quote, several Indian players on his roster.
That's the first thing I noticed. That is not.
William Henry Lone Star Dietz, a white man who claimed to be a member of the Sioux Nation.
Okay, hold on. They say, oh, I can't read it. It's too small. Charged with evading draft and said to be of German origin.
Turned out to be
Lone Star Deeds trial postponed.
whatsoever by his family members. I'll leave you to consider who the other Indian players he's referring to in this picture.
Let me see. So, oh, the Indonesian Indians. I see two of them.
While you look around the image, be sure to remember the logo that was on their jerseys in 1934. Here is the logo of that year from their official website. You can point out the noticeable differences.
Oh shit, this getting deep.
I used to do the curd pies for the morning before, and then
But let's continue because we'll return to this later.
I guess
3 years later, the team owner
the Tribes was the most wanted, so
the Redskins to Washington, D.C., where they became known as the Washington Redskins and adopted a new logo in 1937. In 1946, American Indians with dark brown complexions were welcomed back into the NFL. At that time, they were referred to as colored, Negro, and black.
wow.
But they managed to overcome the pervasive racism that existed while successfully dominating all records across the NFL during that era. At that time, the term redskin was not considered offensive. Additionally, English language dictionaries widely used in the 1950s and 1960s made no mention of the term redskin being viewed as disparaging to American Indians. For example,
I never knew that.
The 1952 edition of the Universal Dictionary of the English Language described redskin as a Native American Indian, a red man, but does not refer to the word being offensive. The American College Dictionary of 1956, the Grosset-Webster Dictionary of 1957, and Webster's New International Dictionary, an abridged second edition of 1957,
Come here, baby. Let me talk to you
all
for a
define
second.
redskin as a North American Indian.
I got real Kaya
With
in my
no
feed.
indication that the term was considered offensive. In the American
What
Heritage
we speak
Dictionary of
gas
the
into the
American
bed.
Language of 1969, produced more than a decade later, the exact definition is given, but with the qualification that the term is informal, which may be a recognition that redskin was phasing out of everyday usage by the end
So
of the
this
1960s.
channel be juicy too, so it just little, ancestral. I'ma go live on Balenciaga because it's my spiritual channel, y'all. So I might go on Facebook too. So,
In
but I'm gonna do the same
1958,
thing.
the
Review my
Crayola
feeds.
Company
I think I'm starting a little
introduced
trend.
15
Facebook might
new
let us
colors to
listen to
its
songs.
64 crayon collection. One
Just
of
give us
which
a
was
allotted
Indian
time.
red.
But if it's a
This
creative
crayon
video, you
was said
should
to
be able to,
represent the skin complexion of American Indians, and
I gotta
parents
reuse
used it as a
copyright that.
conversation starter with their children to discuss American Indian
Non-copyright.
culture.
Oh,
It
Indian
was not
red.
until the
Wow, I never knew
1983
that.
editions of Webster's Third International Dictionary, 9th edition, that the Merriam-Webster Company, the country's leading publisher of so-called serious dictionaries, added the cautionary phrase, quote, usually taken to be offensive, to its previous definition of redskin, which was simply a North American